You are clearly one of the strongest in the tower, yet you silently completed missions for 55 to conceal your identity, even wearing a mask worth a penny. But after dying, you accidentally discovered that you had crossed into a useless being at 25, while everyone here treated you like a god. To understand why we must return to the day of the conquest of the 8th floor, the scene became extremely chaotic at the 8th floor tower in the Deadlands. Hurried footsteps echoed. As if urging every breath, the soldiers solemnly followed Kazuki, who suddenly stopped and raised his hand to signal everyone. Kazuki's serious expression announced today, "We are here to do something unprecedented, which is the conquest of the 8th floor guardians. Do not dawdle, because this is a raid of the Alliance if we do not clear this place. Then the 9th floor will forever remain a mystery." Suddenly, the soldier stood aside, creating a path. His gaze narrowed as he saw a group approaching. Kazuki keenly recognized Lam Yan, a man among them wearing a mask. He smiled his signature warm smile and approached to strike up a conversation. "Subaru," you politely replied. "Sorry for making everyone wait long." Kazuki smiled and shook your hand. "Wait long. You were the first to arrive here." Subaru curiously said, "I heard that even the martial arts team is participating today." He sighed. "After all, Narukami Subaru is the leader. They probably just want to pick up any scraps you left behind." At that moment, you tightened your grip on the hilt of your sword and spoke. "If they just want to pick up scraps, Subaru," Subaru said meaningfully, "then I have something right here." And then you dropped a glowing object into his hand. A status board suddenly appeared, the blessing of the Archangel. Kazuki wondered what this was. Subaru explained, "I intended to complete this raid perfectly, but just in case. You should keep that with you." He hesitated after hearing this, "But you need this more than I do." You pressed further after the battle. "Do you want to return to Lam Yan?" Subaru emphasized, "At that time you can return it to me." In that moment, Kazuki lowered his eyes. A feeling of sadness rose in his heart. You patted his shoulder and reassured, "Yeah. So if you don't want to return it, you can keep it." In that moment, a loud sound occurred, startling both of them. Subaru spoke up, "It's coming." Kazuki was surprised. It manifested itself this early. At the moment preparing for battle, everyone gathered the 8th floor guardians. He hurriedly shouted loudly, ordering to prepare for the impact of the dragon water monster appearing with its bizarre heads. "Start attacking." Everyone looked up and observed, then sighed softly, commenting on a strange monster. Subaru's hands were filled with dark energy. "It made my skin crawl." The system notification ran through Subaru's entire body. His voice was cold as he announced, "Today will be the day you die." The eyes of the dragon water monster glanced at Subaru. Immediately after, they all began to roar, gathering into a green sphere. Kazuki panicked and shouted loudly, "Prepare to unleash its breath." Then everyone, "Step back." But Subaru stood up to stop them. "No need." He looked at the monsters rampaging confused. He asked, "What are you talking about?" The dragon water monster combined its strength. Its roar echoed in the space. At that moment, you touched it decisively and drew your sword. Finally, Subaru slashed into the space. Carrying the power of darkness, two enormous sources of strength directly confront good and evil. Kazuki glanced and sighed. Subaru never changes. Chino joyfully ran up to praise Subaru, saying his training sessions were indeed effective. Seeger raised his hand to touch his neck and complained, "Damn it, I was a step behind. I want to land a surprise attack." Reina looked up and asked, "What did you give Isuki just now?" His voice hinted that she would find out soon. Subaru looked up and asked if everyone was ready. "We will kill this giant lizard and surpass the 8th floor." Immediately, everyone rushed to attack the monster, leaving only Kazuki standing by, indifferent, exclaiming, "Look at their unity." At that moment, someone approached from behind, saying, "Just as planned, the hidden soldiers are already in position." Kazuki turned around and smiled faintly. "Great, then let's get started." Someone accepted it. The mysterious figure continued, hoping for luck to favor you. Kazuki turned back, glancing at the battle in front of him, with an indifferent attitude, her slender silhouette and hair fluttering before the storm. And then they united to attack the monster simultaneously. The giant lizard opened its fiery red eyes, and its enormous mouth unleashed thunder, its face fierce with sharp teeth. Vina approached it, and Segan shouted to stop. "Don't slash without saying anything." At that moment, she glanced back and saw the cold blade of the sword. Reina commented, "You really aren't used to my way of working," but he shouted back in rebuttal, "You should be a bit more careful." and Yisak charged forward, challenging Tosha to see who could cause the most damage. A beam of red light spread through the space along with the roar of the beast. They each ambushed from different sides. The guy grumbled if that's the case, then Yisak reminded him that the loser would have to buy dinner. He smiled confidently as he unleashed a powerful sword strike, watching the monster fall. Yisak spoke, "Sorry, Chino. Focus on unleashing your power in response. Don't worry about me. Just keep attacking." Chino focused on creating a giant shield, leave the defense to me at that moment. Kazuki approached from behind, calling her, startling her. "Chino, do you think you can handle this defense?" Immediately, she was attacked unexpectedly, unable to prepare. Kazuki's cold voice rang out seriously. "This is the price to pay for being too arrogant." Realizing something was wrong, Subaru turned his head upon hearing the broken voice call out. Chino's body staggered and collapsed to the ground. Moreover, he saw him standing there with a cold smile. Subaru's eyes immediately bulged with terrifying veins expressing his rage. Kazuki taunted Subaru, "There's no time to look elsewhere." At that moment, the giant lizard had approached him. Subaru questioned Kazuki in pain. "Why?" In the dark space, the system board appeared. "You have been selected to ascend the tower and prepare for the beginning." A message was sent to all players. The first message from the tower, it is a challenge or perhaps a blessing. Even now, the true purpose of that message remains a mystery. We don't even know who left it, or for what purpose. We simply follow orders that cannot be resisted. And so we aimed for the top of the tower, a place no one had ever climbed before. The Earth, Runeterra, Elphinstone, Lucan, those from different dimensions, each carrying their own responsibilities, continue to climb the tower today. The sky was no longer clear, but covered by layers of dust and smoke, with monstrous dragons lying scattered on the cold ground as the battle came to an end. It was also the moment when the heroes sacrificed themselves. Subaru, exhausted, gasped in the freezing atmosphere at the boss level 8, the Long Hydra. His voice filled with pain and resentment echoed, "I told you all to run away. So when trying them base. But you didn't listen, and they finally brought down the monster, rumored to be indestructible." Subaru looked at his fallen teammates and exclaimed in frustration, "I don't remember allowing you to die. Those who once fought side by side are no longer here." He painfully scolded these fools. The system's voice continuously rang out. "Your condition is poisoned. Natural recovery is disabled. Fatigue level 94. If you could return." Subaru knew exactly what they would say. It asks, "You will die if your fatigue reaches 100. Indeed." Subaru, Narukami, the Thunder King. However, he looked at the instigator and quietly asked him why he did this. Looking at his smile, Subaru yelled in anger, "Answer me, Kazuki Kyojuro." Kazuki sat up in front of him. "It has been 15. Subaru, I have been running for 15 long days today. Everyone must understand this. This is the only way I can defeat you. If I don't draw your attention, your precious blue-eyed group will block the way, right? You have no idea how much you have tormented me. So I chose the world instead of you." His voice restrained, said, "That's all it can be. It's a pity that I have to do this. But finally I can see the end, right? I guess I don't need to return this anymore. After all, the blue eyes will disappear along with you. Don't be sad. Even if you die, you will still be remembered as a hero. Either way, you cannot confirm that." Subaru's low voice rang out until the end. You only hear what you want, because trying to suppress his emotions, his hands clenched tightly into the ground. Subaru glanced at the scene before him and fell into thought. At this rate, his gaze became tense. "I cannot survive. But that doesn't mean I will die in vain like this." At that moment, Kazuki turned around, his eyes wide with horror. He shouted, "Impossible." At that moment, the system appeared. Aeolus, legendary, rank 4. Subaru rushed forward, determined, shouted, "It can still be used." "It still has uses left. I won't let you know, you trash. The system has 4 uses left." He told himself he could use it 4 more times. Subaru noted that there were 4 members of the Blue Eyes still alive. He attacked, while hoping at least everyone could return. Kazuki angrily shouted, "Chase them down, quickly. Don't let anyone survive." One of them quickly waved his hand, directing them to hurry. The vast space had a large magical fan in the center, the corners of Subaru's mouth still stained with blood. He shouted in a hurry, "No!" He raised his hand high, radiating energy. "You all stay here with me." The status board showed fatigue at an extremely high level. Fatigue level increased to 95. The Thunder King's resistance was limited. And then Subaru chose to unleash the Thunder King's power. His figure irritatedly said, "Subaru, you really are a stubborn guy. Your body is almost at its limit." Fatigue level increased to 96. His voice coldly echoed, "I don't know what Kyojuro promised you to make you do this, but I hope you are prepared to pay with your lives from this moment on. No one is allowed to leave without my permission." The enemy side witnessed that scene. Then the tension began to rise. And then they decided to charge in, risking everything. The swords were raised high, ready to strike down, preparing for battle. Subaru reminded himself that normally he wouldn't lose to these kinds of people. He gripped his weapon tightly and spun around a few times, but if Kazuki acted, it would be a different story. Dealing with the others was already exhausting. The problem was his fatigue. Subaru felt tired and confused inside. He couldn't hold on any longer, and while he was distracted, he was ambushed from behind, causing Subaru's face to contort. Blood continued to spurt from his mouth, and the status alert warned that his fatigue level had risen to 98. Subaru struggled with all his might to turn around and counterattack amidst the chaotic scene filled with massive wounds. The light gradually illuminated the painful space. His feet were weary, and the sword fell right beside him. Kazuki joyfully shouted, "We did it! We killed Subaru Narukami." But Subaru immediately arrived at the scene, where he coldly asked, "Who did you say you killed?" His body quickly released a massive amount of lightning. The body of that person was instantly scorched, and his eyes rolled back after the lightning dissipated. He immediately fell to the ground while Subaru gripped the dagger tightly. His body had reached its limit, and he collapsed. Everyone voiced their concern. "He's down." "Did we take him down?" Kazuki stood hidden in the crowd, observing that monster. Subaru never expected his time would end like this. It was that simple. The system continuously warned that his fatigue level had risen to 99, dangerously high. He would die if his fatigue reached 100. In Subaru's mind, he pondered Kazuki. He should know better than anyone. His legs could barely hold him up. Suddenly, Subaru shouted loudly, "Get ready to defend! I will win!" His eyes carried the gloom of hatred while he thought of his condolences. The system's blessing from the Archangel would allow him to survive this. At that moment, Kazuki's expression turned horrified as Subaru's blade suddenly flew before him in shock, impossible to comprehend. Subaru declared, "In the end, I will be the victor." Saying such cool lines like that, while looking quite miserable, Kazuki thought, "At least I want to witness him die before I go." The final lightning strike must have hit, but strangely, he thought about this on the brink of death. Would he be stuck in this state forever? This situation was tormenting him. What is this scent? Can I smell it? Could it be? In a garbage dump, a lid fell with a loud noise. Subaru was sitting in a stinky trash can, glancing around in confusion, asking, "Is this hell?" An information panel appeared right before him. Subaru Hosoi from Earth. He fell into confusion. Subaru Hosoi. What the hell is this? What kind of trash status panel is this? At that moment, Subaru roared in anger. "That name doesn't suit me at all." And from Earth, there's nothing here but garbage. The people around him whispered, "What are you doing here, just here to make us look better?" He accurately assessed that Subaru Narukami was an anomaly, trying to reclaim half of himself from 25 years ago. Subaru Narukami died 25 years ago. Then what is this body? Subaru blankly stepped out of the trash can. "Are you kidding me? Is this a dream?" In that moment, you fell to the ground painfully. Subaru stared blankly at the item in front of him, feeling a sense of doubt as he picked up the player tool. That's right. What if I use this? Subaru quickly operated it, searching for the information label that was displayed. Lamb Clan Heir of the Lamb label, lacking power, the secret behind the name Lamb Clan. The Lamb Clan continues to develop, inheriting the will of Subaru Narukami and the Lamb label. Today, our guild leader Kyojo will win the next tournament discussing the spirit of the Lamb label on that day, 25 before. He couldn't believe it, no way. Subaru looked at the face of the person in the image, confused. He hasn't died. The person on the screen was familiar to him. Kazuki, Kyojo. From the beginning, they were not enemies. Subaru recalled their conversation at that time. "What's wrong? You called me out at this hour." He replied, "Subaru, I'm considering leaving the Lamb label. You wonder what's going on so suddenly." Kazuki suggested, "I want you to inform the others for me." Friends, at least Subaru, thought Kazuki was like that. He spoke, then you will understand the reason. Don't worry, even if I leave, I will still be your shadow. A few years later, Kazuki established a guild and appeared before you again using a name they once joked about Lamb Clan. That was the name of the shadow he mentioned, but he was still on the 9th floor. That means he hasn't achieved anything in 25. Suddenly, Subaru's gaze became stunned. The bulletin board was bustling with people visiting the memorial hall of Subaru Narukami. The memories never faded, even after 25. He was startled by his own memorial hall. Subaru stood before the door of the memorial hall of Subaru Narukami. He was astonished, unable to believe it. Subaru assessed this building more impressive than he thought. A mask was placed in a prominent position. All those present were extremely focused, looking at Subaru in a daze, wondering, what do they remember me for? He moved with heavy steps, his eyes scanning everywhere. Subaru wondered who and for what purpose made this happen. A voice rang out, causing Subaru to have a headache. He is the model for all of us, the hero of the Lamb Label Guild, the one who created the undefeated legend. The man closest to the top of the tower, Subaru Narukami, along with all my teammates, to forever remember him. His gaze carried fear. Are you joking with me? Kazuki's voice echoed. We established this memorial hall. Subaru, angry veins bulging in his neck, thought Kazuki. He said Subaru Narukami and the Lamb Label are no more. However, the Lamb Clan is the only guild that still exists, inheriting their noble spirit. His hand clenched into a fist, shouting, "Shut up. Don't talk nonsense. You just killed me. Aren't you satisfied? If that's the case, I must meet your expectations." He continued his sermon, Narukami and the Lamb Label will never return. Subaru, furious, just wait. Kazuki used a fake gaze. We will never forget them. Your mind rebels against that memory. I will rewrite it from the beginning. Subaru looked up at the sky, reflecting, I won't let him do that horrible thing again. I won't let this second chance go to waste. Suddenly, in that moment, someone grabbed his feet tightly. Subaru supported the weak body of that person to stand up. Suddenly, he shook that person and called out. As soon as that person looked up, Subaru was horrified. His mask suddenly had two people running over, saying, I'm sorry. Are you okay? Minato, are you okay? Don't worry, we just bumped into each other a little. Are you sure you're not hurt? You fell into confusion in these people too. Subaru turned his head, looking around in horror. What the hell is going on? He quickly rubbed his eyes. Subaru's eyes widened in shock. What the hell is this? Everyone around him was wearing his mask from a past life. What is happening? Kazuki's cold voice echoed. It's a pity that things turned out this way. Don't be sad like that. Even if you die, you will still be regarded as a historical hero. Subaru suddenly realized this was his intention, right? His eyes became sharp, filled with resentment. Kyojo Subaru stepped straight toward the crowd. In front of him was his own memorial photo. Placed among fresh flowers, Subaru pondered if all this was just a way for him to claim the glory of Lam Nan alone. Suddenly, his gaze shifted from hatred to astonishment. Before him were white daisies radiating a blue light. Subaru's eyes widened, reflecting the scene. He was violently pushed in the crowd, trying to escape. People shouted in frustration, Watch where you're going. Wait for your turn. Subaru walked like a soul lost, heading straight for his memorial photo. He reached out his hand to touch the beam of light. Subaru was shocked. Is it you, Sigur Asagiri? Scene change. On a high cliff, someone stood looking down at the city. Sigur spoke, We have also overcome this year's disaster. The woman behind replied, talking about being at ease. If we were a bit later, we would have collided with that area. Moreover, is it really necessary to do this? Every anniversary is essential, isn't it? Just visiting the daisies is enough. He gently took off his hat and replied, You will never know what might happen. Subaru might recognize the flowers we brought. She wondered if he really thinks that kid is still alive. Sigurd replied, I haven't confirmed it with my own eyes. Rina reminded him instead of looking for Subaru, perhaps it would be faster for Kazuki to find our location. Furthermore, if Subaru is really alive, we wouldn't need to stand still and watch everything for 25 days, you idiot. The sunset sky with birds flying around. Subaru in a corner kept shedding tears like a child. His feet became tense. Is she really? Subaru sank into thought. Is he really alive? He tightly held the flower in his hand and called out Tiger. This is the room that Subaru Hosoi used to use. Turns out he was poor, huh? The search for Lam Nan yielded no results. Subaru dropped the computer onto the bed, but Sigourney is definitely still alive. She is still here, yet she has to hide. Kyojo, could this be the source of it all? Based on his personality, he wouldn't let anyone be at ease if they knew the truth. Did Sugar really survive alone? I'm not sure if all 4 of them were blown away at that time. But as long as Kyojo is still alive and healthy, contacting each other right now is no different from a method of self-destruction. Moreover, I'm also feeling powerless right now. Forcing yourself only makes you an easier target. He looked at the mask and the flower on the table and told himself first. Subaru looked at his hands. I need to regain my strength. Then he tightly gripped his sword. According to Subaru Hosoi's memory, 2 days later, the guidance to become a player would begin. He caressed the sword, falling into contemplation. If only I could survive. Subaru's gaze became determined. As long as we survive, we can meet again any time. The scene shifts to the guidance hall where Hyuga stands with his arms crossed, looking extremely stern, his serious gaze reflecting the exhaustion of someone who has just undergone intense physical training. He approaches coldly, saying, "You have passed, but do you want to continue to the next part?" The other person stutters in response, then becomes tense, staring at the system board. "Do you want to continue to the next challenge?" He shouts, "Never! I will not do that. Are you crazy?" "No way. I can defeat 3 at once." Hyuga retorts, "Keep it down. My head hurts. I will disqualify you as soon as you fade away." He hurriedly asks, "But I still passed, right?" He complains about that kid. You can only make it this far in the guidance section. I can't believe I have to let that weakling through Isaac's son Reinhardt's son. Apart from him passing the 20th part, there are no other candidates here. In a positive light, the standards for this guidance test are truly pathetic. The quality of recruitment is already hitting rock bottom. Suddenly, he fixates his eyes on the screen as a person steps forward, pulling the sword from the ground. Hyuga reminds, "That's a name that carries a heavy burden." Well, of course, that only matters if you can get through. All right then, right at that moment. Subaru, with a cold expression, waits for the system to announce the creation of 2 goblins. Eliminate the goblins. He urges, "Let's start this test right away." Before Hyuga could finish speaking, he dashed forward like a gust of wind. The man looked up in confusion, wondering if something just flew by. Before Hyuga could react, he saw Subaru eliminate the monsters. He chuckled to himself, using 2 days to test the limits of this body. "This is indeed the body I have awakened. Quite amazing. Do you want to continue to the next challenge?" "I accept, of course. I don't have time for this. So let's make this quick as fast as possible." He saw the scene and gasped in shock. Right at Hyuga's feet was the head of a monster. He was horrified by what was happening in front of him. What the hell is going on? Hyuga stood still, quietly observing Subaru's actions, his eyes wide in surprise. The boy did not swing his sword wildly. He anticipated 2 or 3 steps of his opponent. Subaru's hand gripped the sword tightly. The joints were prominent. Hyuga assessed that it was not just the demeanor of a good swordsman, but even he could not move like that. Unless he is the reincarnation of Subaru Narukami, the sword in his hand was powerful and decisive as he took down the monster. Subaru's cold gaze glanced at those monsters. "System, you have completed part 49. Do you want to challenge the final boss?" He sighed and urged, "Let's go right away." The space once again trembled as Subaru's position. The ground began to crack with strange white veins. A giant hand emerged from beneath the ground. He anxiously shouted, "You idiot, wait! You are not Narukami. If you value your life, then stop right here. Then let's stop right here." The monster roared. It was the Goblin King. The system interface appeared, sensing the sacrifice at step 49. The Goblin King was enraged. Hyuga shouted loudly to abandon it before it was too late. Fighting the Goblin King is too risky. This is self-submission. Don't be greedy no matter how skilled you are. You also can't narrow the gap in stats, but Subaru's gaze was incredibly determined. I know that. With my stats, I can barely deal any damage to him. He tightened his grip on the sword in his hand and boldly declared, "I refuse." Subaru threw the sword to the ground. This made Hyuga clutch his head and scream, "Why did he drop his weapon? Is he crazy?" I knew something was off with him from the very beginning. But at that moment, the Goblin King charged at him. An arrow shot straight, pinning it to its leg. Its face suddenly changed while Subaru knelt down, his hands tightly gripping the poisoned arrows. Surprised, the Goblin King saw this. But it still didn't understand what was happening. Subaru continued, "Let's bet. Will you take me down first, or will I turn you into a beehive first? No more talking." Subaru charged at the Goblin King once again. Seeing this, it roared fiercely, "You answer me!" It quickly lunged towards him, its legs moving swiftly. With its hand raised high, it aimed to strike him. The two attacked each other. With his agile movements, Subaru quickly dodged its blows, recalling the training he had done before. Subaru continuously threw darts, but they didn't hit the mark. At that moment, a girl approached and said, "You can't throw it like that." It was Reina. Anything can become a weapon if you understand its center of gravity, so Reina demonstrated for Subaru. As she threw the dart, she said, "Guidance can also become a weapon if you grasp its center of gravity." And with that, she threw a dart that hit right at the center. At that moment, he used the technique that Reina had taught him. He aimed for the goblin's throat, then quickly grabbed another dart and embedded it in its body. Subaru triumphantly said, "Power is proportional to the rotation force and accuracy." Contrary to that hesitation, it was what Reina had taught him. Huga, standing beside him, also thought that the poison from the goblin would not disappear until the challenge was over. I never expected to use a mechanism I looked down upon like this. Not just swordsmanship to cut down goblins, but throwing techniques to pierce the opponent with weapons. After thinking, he spoke, "He's a genius." Genius, is that even enough to describe him? On the Goblin King now, there were numerous wounds. It had lost all combat ability and fell to the ground. At that moment, Subaru quickly picked up the sword and said, "I don't hate you." With that, he delivered a fatal blow to it. Finally, the system interface appeared. "You have defeated this Goblin King. You have completed the tutorial stage 50 for the first time." It was still just a tutorial. Don't slash a monster like that in the training phase. Level up, gain prestige, earn achievement points, unlock the tutorial shop. This shop can only be used during this phase. With the current points, what can I buy? Current achievement points 225. He was constantly amazed from one surprise to another. I had never seen this shop before. Opening the tutorial shop, it seemed the prices ranged from 50 to 200 points. I will have way too many surplus points. Just after pressing the button, Subaru's eyes widened. He murmured, "I can buy items like this." The unnamed demon sword cost 1,000 achievement points, a weapon type that consumes HP, and the user's spirit to enhance cutting power and physical ability. A failed work of the blacksmith sword master Kinder. It has no name. I never expected to encounter an artifact of Kinder here. It's extremely enticing, but to use it would consume vitality. The Miranda sword costs 400 achievement points, a weapon type that reduces user fatigue accumulation and increases combat time. A Midran sword blessed by the sanctuary. Looking at the holy sword, Subaru couldn't help but feel confused. I don't need a demon sword. I need a holy sword. Should I prioritize destructive power and choose the demon sword, or prioritize safety and choose the holy sword? Looking at the holy sword, Subaru couldn't help but feel confused. I don't need a demon sword, but a holy sword. Should I prioritize destructive power and choose the demon sword, or prioritize safety and choose the holy sword? You pondered how to use the initial points for both options. I need to choose carefully here. But then suddenly I decided to choose again. I can still exchange for the system display showing a cost of 100 and 400 achievement points for a level 1 skill. It negates the side effects of skills and items used by the user, and the rank and level of the skill can be upgraded with a required amount of 10,000 currency. Subaru's eyes widened in astonishment. He had never seen a skill with such an effect. Perhaps with the demon sword, no. It can even negate the benefits from the system display continuously showing that I purchased the skill, deducting 100 and 400 points for the unnamed demon sword, subtracting 1,000 points. And he was very satisfied with this. It was well worth it. He held the sword in his hand, tried a few swings, and exclaimed that indeed the skill and the demon sword seemed to match very well. Instead of struggling with just one skill, using the demon sword from the beginning, it turned out that choosing the demon sword was a good choice. The skill and item are very compatible. However, as an overseer, I cannot understand why you chose that skill. I don't know if it will be useful, and you are not sure if it will be effective. After hearing this, Subaru retorted, "Do you want me to explain every little detail?" Suddenly, he got angry. "Explain it." "Is that what you wanted to ask?" "It's hard to have a polite conversation. You must be very tired after the test, so I will let it go this time." It's not for any special reason. Huga thought to himself that the snotty kid had become an overseer, recalling a boy from his younger days. I am a fan. May I have your autograph, sir? An autograph? I don't have one. Just write your name, and that will do. My name is Hiroto. After that, he began rambling about his time becoming a player, saying that learning the etiquette was the first step compared to that. Young people today become arrogant just because they have a little skill. I don't know how they were educated, but they hate losing and only demand their rights. And instead of respecting the elders, they call us old-fashioned. Times have changed, just like the amount of hair on my head. Subaru also replied, anyway, I don't intend to answer, so let's keep the test results a secret for now. Speaking defiantly with the shallow knowledge picked up online, upon hearing this, Hoga suddenly felt pleased, saying, all right. If that's the case, the manners you lack, I will personally train you from the beginning. How about that? Do you intend to join the Knights Guild? I don't want to. It's rare for an overseer to personally recruit someone. To the second floor, then. Move, girl. Wait. Hold on. Stop. However, Subaru resolutely left. And finally, Subaru disappeared, letting out a tired sigh. Oh God, I'm so disappointed in you. After a while, Subaru landed in another place surrounded by a cacophony of voices. On the second floor, how about some fresh deep-sea fish from Runeterra? Special dry noodles, come and try a bit. In the land of New Thu, we have everything from fabrics made in the martial arts world to coats made from the earth. I have returned to this place. I have seized an opportunity that no one else has. This is my second attempt because I've experienced it once before. I need to handle everything better than before because my teammates are waiting for me, and to take revenge for the horrific ending we faced in a private training room. For self-training and learning how to use new skills, testing the endurance of the equipment, etc. You just arrived, and an old man asked you which floor you came from. Subaru quickly replied, I just came up. A place where all the players frequently visit. He pointed to guide you. Then you should use training room number 1. There's a straw man there. After hearing that Subaru was a bit puzzled, I will use number 5. The old man suddenly became grumpy and frowned. Be honest, don't act like that, it's too expensive, just use number 1. I appreciate your concern, just give me 30 minutes. Okay, you act as if you're the main character in a Korean drama. Whatever, it's up to you. You won't get your money back if you leave halfway. The system board appeared. You have used 50 credits, remaining credits 10.5. The higher the number, the harder the training room, and that's true. For a player without proper equipment, being looked down upon is natural. However, you still bravely stepped in. Then, let's get started. And it was time for Subaru to be ready. He gripped the sword tightly, a red light appeared, and the system board showed that the nameless magic sword had recognized its master. All skills temporarily increased, absorbing HP and megapixels from the user. Level 1 has rejected the intense reaction of the nameless magic sword. Some HP and megapixels have been restored. Level 1 failed to reject the reaction of the sword. Fatigue gradually increased. As expected, level 1 is still too weak, but just a little more. The nameless magic sword absorbed the user's HP, and its power increased proportionally to the HP decrease. The more the system board read, the stronger the sword became. It emitted a brilliantly red light, but Subaru could not control it. Is this my limit? You still lie in anticipation. You have consumed 10,000 credits. The skill level of level 1 has increased. You plunge the sword into the ground, panting heavily. The system board appeared. Level E skill level 2 prevents side effects of items used by the user. Credits needed to level up 20,000. Level 2 resisted the intense reaction of the sword. Level 2 partially succeeded in resisting the intense reaction of the sword. The nameless magic sword absorbed HP, and its ability increased further. Success. At this point, Subaru's expression became more determined. With his fierce red eyes, Subaru was determined to charge forward. It was time to test his strength and return to the old man from earlier. He showed a bored attitude, sighing when he saw Subaru's figure glide past. Am I still dreaming? Or is it just a hallucination seeing the bloodied figure of Subaru stumbling along? He seemed unable to believe his eyes. Was that the kid who had entered the room 5 years ago? It feels like it hasn't even been 10 minutes. Then he knocked on the door, calling out to the dreamy kid, "Are you still there?" Not receiving a response, he peeked in, and the scene before him left him shocked, mouth agape. What on earth happened here? The scene in front of him was utterly devastated, shifting to where Subaru was stretching awake. How long had he been asleep? His body still felt stiff as he sat up pondering. If there were a cursed sword, I would have gotten through that room much easier. The physical issues must have increased significantly, and I have succeeded. In harnessing the power of a normal sword under such conditions, Subaru, a level 10 Earthborn, had a strength of 17, ability of 17, endurance of 16, focus of 18, magic of 8, and fatigue of 61. I shouldn't even be able to lift a magical sword, let alone use it. He recalled the battle and thought silently. The harmony between the sword and the wielder was perfect, meaning a combination with a set could also occur. But the next issue was the skill level displayed on the system board. Skill level F. Skill classification level 2, credits needed for upgrade, 20,000 credits remaining, 50 credits. Am I always this broke? Looking at the system board, Subaru appeared dejected. Now I'm even having trouble controlling my credits. I've really hit a dead end. I mean, I have died, so this is understandable. What's going on? Suddenly, a blonde guy approached Subaru. I'm here to explore level 2. Bringing back memories of when I was a new member on level 2, today's topic is trendy items for the youth. How much does it cost? Alexander donated 1,000 credits for the occasion. Received 1,000 credit points from Alexander, all right. Then he poured a cup of water over his head and shouted, "Ouch, thank you so much." Subaru looked down, feeling puzzled. What was wrong with that guy? Is he crazy? His gaze turned suspicious. Then he picked up his phone to check the news inside. How to earn points. Now is the age of PvP. 1 in 3 players is live streaming for a chance to win fair credits and earn millions. Live stream credits, huh? While watching, Subaru muttered to himself, live streaming videos in real time and collecting donations. So that's what that guy was doing. Subaru was surprised when Isak came over and asked, "You made it here too. I didn't expect to see you here. Are you nearby?" Looking at the guy, Subaru turned pale. My body is reacting automatically not very well. Perhaps we don't have a good relationship. The guy continued, "Your friend is talking to you. Don't ignore him. It feels like I'm talking to myself." This made him think, no, this isn't uncomfortable. It's... Then he stammered, unable to speak. "Did I come here?" Surprising indeed. The guy sat down, speaking sarcastically. "I never thought a weakling like you could pass the guidance test. I thought a goblin would kill you." Surprisingly, the guy sat down after hearing this and said sarcastically, "I never expected a weakling like you could pass the guidance test. I thought a goblin would kill you." I remember now. At this moment, Subaru suddenly recalled when he asked that guy Jack why he was doing this. Why don't make me calm down with such a serious face? Your name annoys me, and you can't even follow basic instructions. You can't even do what you were assigned to do. You're trying to show that you have no parents to teach you, and that you have an empty head, huh? The credits you gave me are not enough. So looking at Subaru Ishikawa's pitiful expression, he kicked him straight in the stomach and then sneered. "Don't argue that bastard's name suits you. Listen, from now on, that box is your home no matter what happens. No matter what, don't come out of there. If I find out you stepped out of there even once, then you know what will happen." Remembering that, Subaru's expression hardened. What kind of idiot would keep taking hits like that? "So that's why you're in that box, huh?" The guy continued rambling to Subaru. "I've completed up to the 20th part, even surpassing my father's 6th record. The supervisor Hyuga even praised me, saying I was truly Reinhardt's son, huh? I even learned a skill as a reward for completing it. That skill is grade B, the highest you can achieve from that guidance test. I'm so thirsty. Maybe I'll have a drink. Go ahead, I'm leaving now." "Oh, is that so? Then when you come back, buy me a cup of coffee, okay? Anything cheap is fine, just pick something." At that remark, Subaru was surprised and asked, "Huh?" The guy bowed his head, covering his face, and said seriously, "Still not listening like before. What's wrong with you lately? Staring at others and constantly arguing. Have you had your soul swapped or something?" Seeing that Subaru bluntly said, "I have no credits. Buy your own coffee." When he saw you about to stand up, the guy lowered his voice and said, "Sit down," but Subaru still insisted on leaving, thinking to himself, "Sorry kid, but I don't have time to deal with your personal issues, but if that guy gets in my way for revenge, that's another story." But suddenly, at this moment, Isaac tightly gripped Subaru's hand, his eyes red, looking at Subaru and saying, "Do you really want to see yourself getting hit?" But Subaru firmly replied, "Let go. If you still value your life, Yoshitaka still held tightly onto Subaru's arm, making the atmosphere even tenser. The guy narrowed his eyes, trying to intimidate. "Don't be arrogant, Subaru." His eyes, full of killing intent, stared straight at him. Subaru thought to himself, "I can't cause a scene in front of this crowd. Making a big deal out of it will only make things worse." Suddenly, Isaac burst out laughing, echoing throughout the space. It seemed that seeing him hesitate made the guy misunderstand. "Don't be scared. I'm just scaring you a little like last time." "Right. You're still as timid as before, huh? With your skills, you must have tried really hard to pass the guidance test. I know you're feeling proud of yourself." But just as he finished speaking, Isaac took a step closer. Subaru looked at the trash with disdain. "Do you really think you can beat me? If I wanted to, I could make you disappear. You know who my father is, right?" After saying that, the guy turned away laughing loudly. My friend Subaru remained calm, silently watching him. What kind of friend is that? The notification system has two main ways for a player to develop. The system currently guides step by step. The first is through the levels by passing the tower's challenges and receiving rewards players can develop, naturally becoming stronger. To access the tower's challenges, you must pay credits, but you will be guaranteed safety in a digital space, because the challenges are created from within it. So even if you die, all you lose is credits and your progress. The second challenge is hunting by hunting monsters. Outside the safe zone or clearing dungeons on each floor, you can fully develop by doing so. Your development will be faster as you pass the challenges, but since hunting occurs in the real world, it's a life or death situation. If you die there, you will truly die right then and there in the orc lair. That's why players avoid hunting, because there's no reason to risk their lives. But a slender figure with resilience, Subaru sat leisurely before the defeated monster. The more secure, the slower the monster was taken down tragically. The more dangerous, the faster. He slowly took out a thin device pondering the latest sensational news, an image of a mysterious character with a mask. Subaru was surprised. Narukami, Subaru, 80,000 viewers. The mysterious character is live streaming enthusiastically. Everyone is watching. Today, I will challenge the third level of the challenge. Subaru Ryan was very annoyed by the name Narukami Subaru and the mask. How many people have used this name? The system displayed that Narukami is a fool who has assigned a mission of 20,000 credits each time that name is completed. Continuing, Narukami Subaru, I will play the fool for you. Thank you for the 20,000 credits. Subaru was confused. There's a mission for 20,000 credits. Many missions have been issued. The hobby of teasing wallets, lonely assets have registered a mission named Mast. Joyfully thank you everyone. I will complete this challenge for everyone. Narukami Subaru easily earns money through live streaming, while Subaru has to struggle against monsters with his life. Meanwhile, his remaining credits were only 50 credits, making Subaru quite annoyed. He really earns a lot. He seemed very focused watching through the screen and then slowly stood up, letting out a long sigh. Subaru stood up fiercely. All right. Then there's one more job to do. A huge, terrifying foot moved, causing the ground to shake violently. A group of monsters appeared with fierce faces growling. The notification system announced that the orc general boss has appeared. Subaru calmly said that even without the poison like last time, this time I have something even better. The system displayed that the unnamed magic sword has absorbed the user's HP. All statuses increase according to the absorbed HP, thus level 2 can resist the recoil of the unnamed magic sword. He angrily pulled out his weapon. I'm very busy, I don't have time. The system displayed that the user's HP and mental health are temporarily restored. Subaru kicked straight into the monster's face. To waste on you, trash, where are you? He rolled in the air. Throwing each technique to eliminate the monsters one by one, they could only stand below, looking up motionless. Subaru threw a punch with great authority, the system displayed. The result of the dungeon, the orc lair, has been completed. He briefly thought that he had to wear this again. Subaru looked in the mirror and muttered, I understand how streamers make money now. If I'm gonna do it, I'll give it my all with what I'm good at. And you put on the mask, well, I'm still the real deal anyway. After saying that, Subaru turned and quietly walked out of the room. A voice echoed, Narukami. Subaru had begun a broadcast in the office, creating an incredibly calm atmosphere. In silence, there was only Hasuka sitting deep in thought about something. She suddenly clenched her jaw, seemingly very angry. Hasuka unexpectedly shouted, What the hell is this? You idiot, you bastard, you piece of trash. Even 5 people couldn't complete it. What the hell is this? Seong-hyun stepped forward and said, remember, if the self-censorship sound goes off first, it's 1,000 points. Right. Just now we were almost at the threshold. So what happened this time? Who is it? Hasuka replied, Subakichi. He was surprised. Is Subakichi Narukami Subaru or an impersonator? She angrily shouted, who knows? It could be both, because the original Narukami Subaru hasn't appeared yet. So if they match, the strongest one will be the real deal. Everyone and their mothers are pretending to be Narukami Subaru and making real money. Has the live broadcast really died? Sung-han stood there and said, don't say such scary things. We're making money thanks to this live broadcasting service. Hasuka continued to be irritable. Isn't that right? They don't even know the rules. Even those players risking their lives to climb the tower find it ridiculous. Then, Hyun worriedly hesitated to speak. Hasuka then asked, then why did you give up the tower and come to a place like this? She gently replied, because it's boring. Besides, you gave up too, didn't you? If I were free, I would have found other talents by now. And shut your mouth, you're making me speechless. No, I gave up because I lack skills. Zaeon-hyun stood there pondering. Well, he climbed the tower just to meet Narukami Subaru in one day, so if he loses his purpose, he'll also lose his passion, right? Hasuka suddenly yelled, there's an amazing kid here. He turned to ask, what's wrong? Did you find another weirdo? She looked confused. A disguised Narukami Subaru Seong-hyun also looked bewildered. That's really something. Is this a talent selection? It's really ridiculous. Why are you watching the broadcast on the second floor with no views? Hasuka noticed something unusual, and that was true. But when I see someone wearing this mask, I can't help but hope and those 1,000 credits I just gifted. Seong-hyun, upon hearing that, knelt down and pleaded, please forgive me. The system continuously announced the start of the second floor's challenge completion. The dungeon's opening and escape points will be provided based on the monsters handled. Subaru thought to himself, the second floor's challenge isn't difficult enough to confuse me. But the feeling of someone watching me still puts a bit of pressure on me. Suddenly, someone sent a message. What floor are you on? That strange person continued to ask, is this your first time? You mumbled, yes, this is my first challenge. A series of messages were sent to you. Are you sure? Is this kind of broadcast okay? If it's your first time, you probably don't know much about the surroundings when suddenly a monster with a fierce face appears. Subaru quickly grabs the monster's head. He throws it away, causing the monster to fly far away. The notification system announces that a mud monster has been defeated, earning 1 point. Subaru pauses and mutters, is there a problem? The notification system begins the first challenge. Conquer the newbie dungeon and escape. Achievement points will be awarded based on the number of monsters defeated. Comments pop up. Your reflexes are insane. Wait, are people streaming from the second floor? Occasionally I see them, but they give up quickly because their view counts don't increase. It's better not to be greedy and wait for the other members to move together. Subaru slowly speaks. Thank you for the advice, love money. But that's not allowed. You laugh, saying you prefer to handle everything alone. Comments pop up alone, huh? Have you done your research? He's done for. Newbie today. Subaru starts moving inside. Just using the name Subaru Narukami brings viewers to him without doing anything. Suddenly, a salamander appears. Moving towards Subaru, his hand quickly grips the sword's hilt. In the blink of an eye, Subaru easily defeats it. Now I plan to see how far I can go. The notification system announces that the mud monster has been defeated, earning 2 achievement points. Comments pop up. Does anyone see anything? I think I see a mud monster, right? In an instant, the one-eyed monster attacks again. Subaru's body moves with incredible agility. It seems nothing can stop him now. Comments pop up. What was that just now? What's going on? Something has happened. Viewers, the notification system announces that the one-eyed monster has been defeated, earning 2 achievement points. The mud monster has been defeated, earning achievement points. Subaru speaks. If everyone focuses on the sounds, they'll know from which direction and how many will come. Comments pop up. Yeah, I know that. You're lying. You're not a newbie. I know that too. I can do that too. Hey, Virtu, what level are you? You continue. If everyone knows already, then I'll say what I'm thinking. Comments pop up. Usually people can't do that. LOL. In the end, the player's talent is all about sticking to your content. I get it, LOL. Trying to ride on Subaru Narukami's fame is a bit much, lol. Subaru suddenly thinks it's still not enough. I want to accumulate as many achievement points as possible. Before leaving here, comments pop up. Have you been going straight this whole time? A real man quietly moves forward. You didn't research thoroughly. You'll get into trouble if you keep going straight like that. Suddenly, Subaru's foot stops inside the cave. His face slowly looks up, revealing countless one-eyed monsters clinging to the walls. Their pupils gradually open, glowing bright red, and one after another, the others also open their eyes. Comments pop up. See, I told you. LOL, he's done for. See you at the entrance. The notification system announces that Maloney Stream has created a mission worth 100 reputation points if you can kill them all. Subaru's state. At this moment, he is still thinking about something. Comments pop up. Is this a trap? So rude. LOL. Ha. Ha. Subaru speaks thank you Maloney Stream for the 100 reputation points. A hand clenches angrily, slamming on the table. Gong Hyun panics and shouts, "Where did I go wrong? I was fine until the 6th floor, and now I've failed here." A hand clenched in anger slammed onto the desk, and Hyun panicked, shouting loudly, "What did I do wrong? I was fine until the 6th floor, and now I've failed here. Pay me back here." Sorry, I was too focused. My mistake. Hasuki was just staring at the glowing phone screen when CEO Hyun tilted his head and asked what she was looking at. Her voice dropped. Something felt off. CEO Hyun was surprised. It wasn't a large amount of money, really. I have the money to pay you back. If I touch gambling again, Hasuki interrupted, that's not it. Her tone was a bit surprised. Narukami Subaru and Seong Hyun exchanged glances. Are you still watching the stream? Suddenly, his expression twisted as he looked down. No way. Comments popped up. Oh my, and he's a newbie at level 2. Are you kidding? I'm starting to feel sorry for the fallen ones. Oh my, this is getting crazy. How many times has it been now? Seong Hyun continued. How many of them did he take down by himself? Those one-eyed fallen ones were charging in to attack like this. Subaru's sharp blade easily took them down. Comments appeared. Your explanation doesn't explain anything at all. Who said he was a newbie? Something has happened. Is that all you can say? Right now, I'm on the upper level, but I'm being taught by a level 2 newbie. It's like if you step forward, you can step up. Subaru sighed. Communication is tough. Comments appeared. Don't forget to claim your reputation points. Okay. He spoke up. Oh, right. I forgot. Subaru quickly tapped to claim the reputation points. Comments appeared. What's wrong with him? Is he acting strange? Subaru awkwardly scratched his head. How do I claim it? Comments popped up. Aside from skills, he's definitely a new streamer. Click on the accept button for the quest in the chat window to complete the quest. Received 100 reputation points from Melanie's stream. Subaru quickly replied, thank you very much, and continued to delve deeper inside. Wow. The next place will be the final one. The system announced you currently have 150 reputation points. Achievement unlocked. You currently have 118. Suddenly, a loud scream echoed outside the building. Hasuki excitedly said, this is bad. I can only exclaim, this is bad. Seong Hyun gritted his teeth, covering his ears. The one in trouble is you. She turned her face. What did you say? Well, have you ever seen something like this? Seong Hyun frowned, continuing, you're overreacting. It's just level 2. Hasuki's eyes widened as she stood up. Well, I am overreacting. He panicked and said sorry. Her cheeks flushed with excitement. Where are you from, Earth? I'm Subaru Narukami from Earth. Could it be fate? Could it be the reincarnation of Subaru Narukami? You see it in those comics, something called a reincarnation motif. Seong Hyun frowned silently, saying this girl once she talks about Narukami. She seems crazy. And Hasuki continued, what should I do? I'm so dizzy. CEO Hyun. If I close my eyes now, he was startled. No, she's surprised, isn't she? No, CEO. Hyun continued. Not that are you thinking about probing him? Hasuki angrily shouted, that's right. He continued, he has some bright spots, but he's still a lonely newbie streamer. She quickly interrupted, I know that. Seong Hyun sighed, what do you know? If we tell the manager, we'll get scolded again. Hasuki angrily replied, and just now, all you knew was to gamble. Suddenly, now serious, her cheeks puffed up, grimacing. Just wait and see. Hasuki's gaze continued to focus intently on Subaru, and at that moment, everything around him began to tremble. A hand gently placed on the wall. Here it is, the endpoint of the dungeon. The door suddenly opened slowly. Subaru stood firm and confident facing it. And here, the battle wolf in a sleeping sitting state. It is the battle wolf, Greg comments, appearing every time he sees him feeling the insane pressure. Keep it a secret that I struggled with this guy for 8 trial attempts. He didn't let me pass the first time, making me think it was a system bug notification. Receiving acknowledgement from the battle wolf as he passed through the gate allows you to continue the challenge. Subaru thought to himself the battle wolf is not a monster created for hunting. It is the gatekeeper assessing the strength of players conquering the newbie dungeon and determining whether they can proceed or not. His gaze slowly glanced to the side at the screen. Subaru's expression froze in surprise. 3,000 reputation points. A rude comment appeared. Another one showed up. LOL, perhaps he has no intention of gifting it. LOL announced, tightening the budget further. This is not a monster to be defeated, LOL. The pitch-black pupils of the battle wolf slowly opened. A deep scar appeared on the eye. The system quickly announced, Battle Wolf, grace the gatekeeper of the second floor. It began to take a deep breath and then spoke. A player, Subaru did not respond quickly, drawing his sword in front of him. Sir G praised Subaru. You are really good, because even when you change the direction of your sword midway. His breath and gaze remained unwavering. Subaru wondered about the sword direction. He continued from the very beginning. It looked like you only struck with a single slash. Are you calculating the agile movements of the enemy and even planning your actions long before Subaru did not answer, only lost in thought about something? He suddenly pointed at his face and said, But I really think a lot. Sigourney frowned. Indeed, a troublesome guy. Subaru calmly continued, Perhaps it would be better if I couldn't do that. Sigourney awkwardly smiled. Usually he couldn't. Subaru continued to ponder. Sigourney also found it strange, right? The important thing in communication is to exchange glances and convey everything immediately when taking down a group of unique-eyed monsters at the same time. You shouldn't think about it. Aiming at the eyes of each individual unique-eyed monster always attacks while pushing forward, so the more gaps they create, the larger the system notification. Let the battle wolf recognize you. The battle wolf's eyes widened in surprise, looking at Subaru alone. It wondered, asking back, Are you really here alone? Subaru coldly replied, Can't you see? The battle wolf began to close in on his face. You are indeed an interesting guy. I can smell the scent of a great warrior from you. A comment appeared, the scent of a great warrior. And you say I smell bad. It said I smell like a goblin corpse. Subaru's eyes became sharp. The warrior wolf tribe can smell a special scent. Not just their body odor, they can see through a person's essence. The battle wolf spoke, You have enough qualifications to pass this place. The test is over. You can go. Now, a comment appeared. What's wrong with this guy? Anti-discrimination. It turns out there are cases like this, huh? Subaru scratched his head, thinking to himself, even in his previous life. This has never happened. What a pity my target is you. The battle wolf tilted his head, me. Not. The door behind Subaru quickly nodded. Yes. Someone told me to kill you. Suddenly, the battle wolf looked up and continued. Indeed, the man who possesses the soul of a great warrior is right here in a sun-drenched office. Flooded with sunlight, Hasuki along with Seong, Hyun, had arrived at the office, fingers tapping uncontrollably, a bit angrily about this after the entertainment session. Department head John Taylor, that streamer, how many viewers does he have? Seong Hyun awkwardly replied about 20 people. Hasuki interrupted. No. She smiled brightly and continued, Now it's over 30. Seong Hyun frowned, thinking, I won't remind you, you idiot. John suddenly picked up his glasses and said, Are you guys joking with me? You think I don't know you're betting during work? And then what I told you to find someone promising, and you bring me someone with 20 viewers. Hasuki's eyes slowly lowered to 30 viewers. John angrily interrupted. Isn't that unimportant, Hasuki? Why don't you just stream? You have the skills, and I'm sure you'll have fans. She loudly said. The manager, Hasuki, looked down at the screen. I just saw it surpass 40 viewers. John frowned. Are you even listening to me? At this moment, Subaru was still in a ready stance before the wolf. Suddenly, its arm raised with sharp claws. He tightened his grip on the sword handle. Don't think about anything. The system announced, the nameless demon sword absorbs the user's mana. All stats increase according to the amount of stamina consumed. Subaru reassured himself to stay calm. The system announced, Level 2 enhancement negates the side effects from the nameless demon sword. His pupils suddenly shone. Even if this is your first time dropping, the thought is when the wolf lunges. Just do as usual. Subaru's sword quickly parried its claws. The wolf didn't stop there. It continued to raise its claws, frantically attacking Subaru. His feet struggled to stay grounded. Subaru pulled the sword back, gasping for breath. He's really strong. Trying to withstand it with brute force is impossible, but the wolf's sharp gaze at Subaru was that of a warrior. It quickly continued to charge and attack him. The wolf spoke, "But you are not on my level." Both of Subaru's palms gripped the sword handle tightly, refusing to let go. The commentary appeared. Defense strategies are only for hired assassins. Hired assassins probably won't do, but it's still dangerous. He's strong to the point of being unreasonable. Maybe trying 2 or 3 times that guy who gave this mission will regret it. You'll manage to complete it. That will be very difficult. At this moment, Subaru's back was pushed against the wall. He gasped, thinking to himself, sometimes there are more effective ways than using strength. The wolf continued, "You've piqued my interest." A warrior, its claws raised high. "Let's finish this." The powerful arm struck down with terrifying energy. Subaru quickly shifted direction, saying, "That's right. Your attacks are too predictable." With that, his sword struck directly into the wolf's body. Die! Its body fell in pain, blood gushing out continuously. Subaru jumped up high again. Gripping the sword tightly, he easily used his skills to defeat the wolf. Subaru quickly sheathed the sword at his side. The wolf looked up, speaking excellent. The system quickly announced, "You have defeated the wolf. Level up to 12. Strength increased by 2. Agility increased by 1. Focus increased by 1. Mana increased by 2. You received 500 achievement points." Commentary appeared. Wait, did he really defeat him? Is he dead standing? This stream is insane. Isn't this the first attempt? How could Subaru, gasping, smiling, say he defeated him? Commentary appeared. Solo hats off to the one who issued the mission. LOL, perhaps he never thought he could do it. Viewers 56. The system announced, "Mission completed. You received 3,000 reputation points from Boss Essex." Subaru spoke, "I will use it for good Boss Essex." The system announced, "Current reputation points 3,150. Current achievement points 618. The gate opened. Subaru slowly entered inside where there was light. Suddenly his eyes froze, sensing danger. Commentary appeared. Something is enraged. The system panel continuously appeared before Subaru. Commentary appeared. 13, are you kidding? The known ones so far are 16. Isn't this the 6th tier? Why am I only getting... The system announced, "The number of choices is proportional to the player's talent. Will you participate in the Thunder Challenge?" Commentary appeared. That's the spirit. Of course, if he didn't choose Lightning here, he should change his name. Subaru hesitated for a long time before finally speaking up. "I choose the system." The announcement quickly confirmed that he had chosen the Lightning Challenge, and Subaru's entire body was enveloped. Wrapped in a powerful electric current, Hatsuki still focused on the screen to monitor everything. Everyone was laughing excitedly, saying, "That's great." Hatsuki pointed at the screen. He did it. There are 60 people. How about that? Is there any streamer whose viewership increases this quickly? Typically, missions only offer a maximum of 2 or 3 choices, but he has 13, John said in a deep voice. It's truly impressive to defeat a werewolf. I heard he has never been defeated, but he is still just a newbie streamer on the 2nd floor. There's still a lot to say, Hasuki said, excitedly laughing. Do you want to bet with me, manager? He was extremely surprised. She continued, if he fails to accept the Lightning Challenge, Segan, I will work with a fixed salary for 5 years. On the other hand, if he succeeds, you will sign a contract with him without any complaints. Seong Hyun cried out, saying, what is this? Why am I included? Wait, I don't know this person. John chuckled. Even if you manage to reach the challenge, do you really think he has a chance? The only player who has ever achieved lightning is Subaru Narakami. Hatsuki confidently replied, if you don't try, how will you know? Right, John crossed his arms and replied, all right then, I will join that bet. Hatsuki quickly covered her mouth, saying no Hyun. The system announced the start of the Lightning Challenge. Subaru stared wide-eyed and whispered, this is Suddenly, a voice cut through the atmosphere. "Watch out!" A person suddenly rushed in and hugged Subaru tightly. Suddenly, a huge explosion occurred from behind. Falcon hurriedly gasped for breath along with the giant debris behind him. "What are you doing? Are you trying to die?" The system announced to defeat the giant debris. Subaru was surprised. Why is this guy here? Suddenly, the giant debris gritted its teeth, looking down below as comments appeared. What situation is this? Isn't this the lightning challenge? Right? That's a monster from the giant tribe. Why did it appear like this? Subaru thought to himself, a boss-level monster should have appeared in the second part of the challenge. Something has changed because I defeated Red, right? The giant debris quickly used its weapon to strike straight down to the ground. Subaru, in the blink of an eye, moved from his position and slowly walked forward, sighing. However, it's just big. Its structure is far inferior to Greg. Luckily, I knew this information beforehand. Falcon hurriedly ran over, saying, "And after I got into trouble for saving you, hurry and run." Subaru quickly gripped the hilt of his sword tightly, thinking that he needed to resolve this quickly. Before anyone disturbed the system, the notification of the nameless demon sword absorbing the user's blood caused all stats to increase according to the amount of blood consumed. Therefore, level 2 negates the side effects of the nameless demon sword at this moment. Subaru stood firm facing the giant fragment. His foot suddenly shifted to take a fighting stance as the weapon of the giant fragment descended with powerful energy. Subaru's feet timely touched down on the landing spot as the giant fragment still refused to stop, continuing to rush towards the buoy eyes fixed on the sky, witnessing Subaru suspended in midair. His body quickly landed at its head, the sword piercing straight in without hesitation, causing the giant fragment to scream in pain with just one strike. Subaru's cold, dark gaze looked at it so noisy his palm tightened around the sword's hilt, silently wishing for the rest of its life to be quiet. The head of the giant fragment lifted up, blood continuously oozing out its eyes, slowly narrowing with no strength. To resist, the notification system announced, "You have defeated the giant fragment." "You have completed level 4 comments," appeared on level 4. The notification system leveled up to 13 strength, increased by 2 agility, increased by 1 health, increased by 1 mana, increased by 1. "You have received 4,000 achievement points. You have received the item Giant's Heart. You have received the item Thunder's Blessing." Comments appeared with 4,000 points as a gift. From level 1 to level 4 at the same time. How generous, killing the war beast. A perfect conquest from level 1 to 3. Falcon was surprised, walking over to look at Subaru. It was a comment that appeared. "Wasn't it, Falcon?" LOL, he switched to polite conversation. Everyone would be on guard if something like this suddenly appeared in level 4. Right, everyone would panic. "LOL, he exclaimed. "What kind of monster are you?" Subaru coldly replied, "Can't you see? His dark pupils look down at me here to defeat the giant right now in a very quiet town with only a few sparse residents, along with some guards." Standing around Subaru sat alone in the room, intently watching the screen as comments appeared. "Show us the items." Show us. I bet it's at least a magic rank. Not just magic, it might be rare." Subaru directly reached in. "I'm curious. Let's see." Together. The notification system Giant's Heart. Rare accessory health, +2, a ring carved from the heart of a giant, enhances health and recovery abilities. Subaru thought to himself, accessory type equipment is very valuable. Increases health. I also like this effect. He looked down at the floor. Just in time, I also need a set of armor. The notification system. Thunder's Blessing. Rare armor defense +5 armor transferred the power of thunder. Can use Thunder's Blessing once a day, negating adverse status effects. Remaining uses 3 comments appeared nice even after deducting equipment restrictions. It seems it can still be used up to level 5. The Giant's Heart is a lifetime item. Its basic value is anything you request. Subaru quickly donned the sturdy armor. The notification system Narukami Noah registered a mission for 5,000 reputation points. If you can learn Thunder, do your best. Subaru replied in a deep voice. "Thank you," through Narukami. The notification system, Imban registered a mission. I will give 5,000 points for a similar mission. Mr. Villain registered a mission. 3,000 points for a similar mission. Chef AX registered a mission, Love and Trust, and 7,000 reputation points. Subaru spoke up. "Thank you, everyone. I will definitely show you my strength." With so many people waiting for thunder magic, perhaps he could be a more important existence than he thinks. Suddenly there was a sound from outside the door. Come in comments appeared just then. LOL eavesdropping behind the door. No way this guy also registered a mission in front of me is Falcon, and the person next to him is Peleus. Falcon smiled and said sorry for keeping you waiting. This is the leader of the Knights of the Village, Sir Peleus. Recently, the attacks from the giants have been frequent. Our knights must guard 24 hours a day. Fully equipped for their safety, we have requested the villagers to limit unnecessary trips. We did not expect to encounter an outsider at a time like this. Peleus continued, I heard you protected the village while I was away. On behalf of the villagers, thank you. Subaru interrupted. No, I was just doing the obvious. Peleus, the face of this village. And as a brave knight against the giant tribe, Peleus said seriously, fortunately, during this reconnaissance, we discovered the chief of the giant tribe. We plan to risk our lives to corner them. So, please forgive our rudeness. I ask you to save our village. Subaru didn't respond, only looking at Belos's appearance. At that moment, comments appeared saying, Belos, don't die. Would he die? Don't reveal it yet, Subaru thought with a frown. Based on his memories, he was sure that in the next scene, Belos would die. His arm slowly reached out in front. Lift your head up. Subaru confidently smiled and continued, I understand now. I will cooperate. Belos quickly smiled and shook hands with him. Thank you very much. The system announced the start of the 5th survival round. Everyone walked together under the evening sunset. Subaru was still focused on the screen, thinking about the increasing number of viewers. The comments were scrolling by so fast that it was impossible to interact. Suddenly, Peleus halted, raised his hand, and said, Stop! Falcon's face darkened as he pointed ahead. It was a monster with a sturdy body. The chief of the giants, Belos, spoke, I will attract its attention, so you, benefactor, attack it from behind. Suddenly, a hand quickly landed on his shoulder. Wait! Belos gritted his teeth and turned to look at Subaru. That thing suddenly shook the ground violently. Belos and his teammates were extremely panicked. Subaru's eyes suddenly sharpened, staring intently at what was not human at that moment. Suddenly, the chief's pupils widened. Its eyes slowly glanced to the side as giant fragments appeared. All of them were excitedly rushing towards them. Belos was astonished, his eyes wide as he trembled. Why was the giant fragment's huge palm quickly attacking, stopping right in front of them? It was a great danger. The giant fragment was shrinking into view. It suddenly grinned wickedly with its terrifying white pupils. Everyone began to panic and flee. Everyone turned back to the foot of the mountain. Hurry up! The giant suddenly roared as if they were angry, pressing down hard on the sacrificed person below. One person was crying. Just as he was about to rush forward, his teammate pulled him back. Stop! The monster raised its hand. He cried out loudly, Joe Belos is standing in front. Quickly turning around, he ordered. This is an order. Everyone run. He shouted loudly, making them anxious. Think about your families at home and this village. This is not the end. We will start again. They immediately ran away. Belos turned around and continued to hold his ground. I will leave the task of leading Falcon to you. As he turned his face to the side, he bumped into a shadow. Belos immediately shouted, You two hurry and run. Please rebuild the Night Order and take revenge on the giants. Subaru drew the sword in his hand and replied, That's what I should say. He stepped forward and asked him, Aren't you gonna run? Belos asked back in confusion, What do you mean? Subaru expressed his desire to chase him away. If you're here, I can't move comfortably. If you insist on refusing, then we will both die here. Belos was panicked, wanting to shout but abandoning someone and running away. I can't. He immediately shouted, Don't make me say it a second time. Hearing that, he immediately ran away. Belos didn't forget to turn his head and say, Then I will go gather the warriors, if you can hold on until then. Subaru focused on this group of monsters, replying, Thank you. Belos shouted, I wish you survived the battle. I owe you a life. Take care. The monsters suddenly opened their mouths wide and roared. Subaru, unafraid, leaped towards them. A sword in his hand was covered by a dark aura. I am your opponent. He immediately slashed down. At the feet of the giant, it was slashed and lost its balance, almost falling down. The others, hearing the screams of their kind, glanced over. Subaru wiped the sweat from his brow as a notification from the system appeared. You have defeated the trace of the giant. Achievement unlocked 20 points. His eyes were bright red as he slashed and said, "Even though it was a test, I wasn't used to being left alone on the other side." Belos was trying his best to run quickly into the forest, then he suddenly stopped, his breath becoming heavy. Belos anxiously turned his head to look back at the direction he had just run from. He said nothing but clenched his teeth tightly while a crowd of comments arose around Subaru. "It looks a lot like a fight, doesn't it? That must be self-destruction. There are too many of them, just survive." Right. Why are you chasing others based on the score that changes according to the number of surviving warriors? It turns out it's not just about surviving. This game is too impossible. You just regained your breath while thinking about it. "Pelis, you are destined to die if I do this. I can save everyone," while Subaru was thinking the giants like madmen rushed towards him. Subaru immediately delivered a finishing blow to one that had defeated the trace of the giant. Receiving 10 achievement points, he turned to the side and quickly eliminated another one that had defeated the trace of the giant, earning another 10 achievement points. Subaru pondered. The nameless demon sword absorbs the user's mana. All stats increase according to the amount of mana consumed. If I take down each one, it won't be hard. He raised the sword, gripping it tightly in his hand. The problem is, how long can I borrow the power of the demon sword? Here I need to ensure visibility and find the boss. Subaru climbed onto the body of the giant he had just slashed to expand his view. The other giant saw him and also looked on as Subaru glided through the air. Below, some giants even opened their mouths as if waiting for him to fall. Suddenly, one opened its mouth wide. Raising both hands high as if to catch Subaru, he didn't attack, but used his foot to stomp on its face. Then Subaru used the faces of the giants as a launching pad to propel himself away, the comments flaring up again. One wrong step means instant death. It was supposed to be a specialty of Subaru. Naruto, he didn't pay attention to those comments, but focused on thinking of ways to level up. Eliminating the side effects of the nameless demon sword, the user's stamina and mental strength have recovered. There is a change in stamina consumption. The equipment truly makes a difference. His eyes widened as if seeing something. I need to quickly find the boss before reaching the limit. Subaru spotted the boss from a distance. There it is. It saw him and suddenly laughed loudly as if delighted. Subaru quickly rushed towards it, and it also prepared to swing the weapon in its hand. He was thinking while rushing forward. "If I don't take it down in one blow, I'm done for." A giant with a serious expression raised the staff in its hand. Subaru remained calm on the outside, but inside he was praying, "Please let it succeed." He suddenly snapped his fingers, the sound echoing in the air around him. Subaru was immediately enveloped in a layer of golden light. Using thunder, the thunder roared across the battlefield. The giants in pain raised their hands to cover their heads, shielding their eyes. They screamed loudly. Even the boss dropped its weapon to cover its eyes, lifting its head to open its eyes to look at him. Screaming human boy. Subaru dove down the tip of the sword, pointing directly at its head. The nameless demon sword absorbs the user's mana. His eyes turned red, and the sword also flashed with a gleam. Subaru decisively stabbed down. It widened its eyes in surprise as it was stabbed. Subaru maintained his posture, blood splattering everywhere. The giant looked at him in disbelief. Then it leaned back, its body gradually collapsing. All the others were holding their heads, unaware that the boss had been defeated. The giant seed was immediately defeated, and a series of system notifications popped up. Completed the survival stage, achieved excellent results, leveled up, increased 1 strength, increased 2 agility, increased 2 stamina, and increased 1 mana. In the live room, comments flooded in excitedly. Has anyone ever defeated him? Impossible. How did you defeat him right from the start? Wasn't it supposed to be a scene like that? When did the chance to finish him off appear defeating something that shouldn't be defeated? Truly a troublemaker. I hate my weak body too much. Subaru, exhausted from the effort, continuously adjusted his breathing. If this were the main character in a story, this would be the moment of the end. Suddenly, the dark sky was filled with intense thunder and lightning, causing the sky to flash repeatedly. The giants finally calmed down, slowly lowering their hands as he raised the staff to look at it. The second-grade students had failed to eliminate the nameless demon sword, and Subaru staggered, trying to hold himself up to avoid falling. Just then, an image flashed through his mind. Even if I complete this round, the monsters won't disappear until the test is over. I never expected that the mechanism I once used to my advantage would now bring me misery. From his mask, a few drops of blood began to drip down. Subaru looked at the towering giants and thought to himself, "This is bad. My power has vanished." Suddenly, a few lightning bolts struck the sky, and a long golden bolt shot down from the heavens to the ground at incredible speed, illuminating his body with the flash of lightning. Then it struck Subaru directly, creating a massive explosion that forced the giants to retreat in fear, while in another part of the forest, the sky was clear and birds chirped cheerfully. The golden light shone down, filtering through the leaves deep in the forest where a wooden house was built under the canopy. In front of the house, a girl was sitting on a chair doing something. She was focused on what she was holding. Tiger stepped out of the house and his gaze immediately met hers. He approached and asked her what she was doing in a place like this. She didn't answer, but changed the subject. "Nice weather, right? The air is fresh, too." Vina was still fixated on the device in her hand, something he could only enjoy right now. Seeger walked over, looking up. "It's almost time, huh?" She thought for a moment before replying, "At most a year." He turned to look at Jenna. "It's time to end everything." At this moment, she stopped responding, leaving Seeger helpless and sighing. She was indeed different, absent-minded while we were having a serious conversation. He leaned down to peek at the device in Gina's hand. "What are you so focused on?" Hearing this, she hesitated a bit and said, This inside is an image of Subaru right now. He is called Subaru Narukami." Seeger lost his composure and shouted, "Subaru! Did you just say Subaru?" Vina sighed and quickly replied, "Of course it's not that Subaru. He just stole the name Subaru Narukami, a streamer currently undertaking the second challenge. Comments are also appearing on the live stream. His movements are extraordinary. And this guy is considered a newbie." Vina hesitated a bit, but then clarified, "You know right." She was a bit angry and raised her voice at Sigourney. If Subaru survives in that situation, Kazuki Kyojiro has long been erased from this tower. He calmly asked what she meant. Gina's eyebrows furrowed slightly and her cheeks flushed with a hint of pink. "Subaru is dead. You need to accept that reality." Hearing this, Sigourney immediately turned away. "Don't mention that issue anymore." She was a bit flustered, calling out to him. Sigourney Vina stood up from her chair and shouted, "How much longer are you gonna hide in that kid's shadow?" He turned back, annoyed, and reproached, "And what about you?" Tiger snatched the device from her hand. "That's why you're involved in this stuff." She was about to explain, but took it and brought it before Jaina. "I'm just passing the time." She looked at the device and the image inside, reflected in Gina's eyes, making her scream, "Huh!" Seeger took the device back, looking slightly annoyed. "What now?" Just as his gaze met it, Seeger froze. It was Subaru pushing his foot down hard to gain momentum. A massive amount of energy radiated from him, causing him to shine brightly. The giants were weighed down by the pressure, unable to move. A notification from the system appeared. "You have acquired the skill Thunder. You have received 2,000 achievement points. Continue with Challenge 2, moving on to the next week." The comments section erupted in chaos. Huh. Really, it's crazy that this is how to achieve it. The difficulty is completely broken. You ask how to achieve the Thunderstar, just defeat the giant tribe boss. Why doesn't Subaru Narukami say anything, even when I tell you you wouldn't be able to do it? He looks down and thinks it's not normal. This is not something I can obtain here. The system panel displays information about Thunder Rank, a skill type 1 stamina, and mana, consumption to harness the power of lightning, which can be upgraded by adding Thunder Shards. Subaru looks at the panel and sighs. "At least I didn't die, that's enough." The challenge stopping at this moment really saved me. A series of notifications popped up, all the information about viewers gifting to you. Subaru immediately expressed his thanks to everyone. He looks at the prestige points and continues, "Prestige points 20,150. I said that when I receive gifts, I will perform a show to thank you. The challenge will continue." The giants are back in motion and rush forward growling. Subaru's sharp eyes scan them. "I will show everyone that it has consumed 20,000 prestige points." The skill Thunder Element Level 2 has leveled up to Thunder Element Level 3, eliminating the side effects of lightning. He raises his hand, which is radiating lightning, wanting it to spread throughout his body. But as the lightning flows into his hand, Subaru's hand glows brighter. "All of you stand still and defend, while the monsters charge in like hungry tigers. just as they raise their hands to attack Subaru. He smirks, gripping the hilt of his sword tightly, channeling lightning into the unnamed demon sword. Subaru's entire body emits a deadly red light. Should I cut them all down at once? Unlike the old days, he swings down powerfully. His eyes gleam with light, and wherever the slash goes, the giants are split in half. No monster can escape Subaru's deathly strike. The final blow fades his body, and Subaru is slightly exhausted, breathing heavily. Damn, I was planning to save my strength to come back. He plants his sword into the ground, trying to stand firm. I misjudged my power. Behind Subaru, a group of people is gradually approaching. They see the scene before them. Everyone is a bit startled. Belial looks up, his face clearly puzzled. He suddenly rushes quickly to Subaru. You are our benefactor. He is supporting himself. Hearing the call, he turns his head. Subaru's eyes are fading. He tries to breathe normally, but his vision is blurring. He looks at Peleus worried as he runs over. You idiot! Just as he raises his arm, Subaru has tightly shut his eyes. He has truly entered a room. The machine on the table beeps. The three people in the room are all worried and a bit panicked. CEO Hyun looks up and asks, do we really have to go this far? John doesn't know what to do either. Don't ask me. I don't understand women's thoughts. Hazuka sits on the chair, covering her face with her hands, mumbling, this is bad. Her face is flushed and sweat drips down. What should I do? Hazuka rubs her hands on her face. Maybe I spoke too coldly. What if it was just a work message? I should have added more emojis. He crosses his arms and says, sorry, but to me it just looks like a work message. Are you one of those crazy fans? John adds, honestly, I thought you wanted to be a manager for the streamer. Hazuka drops her hands, her voice a bit louder. But before becoming a manager, I'm a passionate fan, so how can I be blamed? She suddenly stands up and approaches both of them. I told you right. Boss Hasuko places her hand on her chest, her voice clear and powerful. The lightning that only Subaru Narukami can achieve with this. It has become the unique lightning reserved for Subaru Narukami and his group. Gong Hyun sighs. Somehow I have preserved my salary. He raised his hand to stroke his chin, smiling. No wonder no one else could receive it. He must be someone worth watching. The device in his hand suddenly received a signal. Hasuko's eyes lit up at that. The next words from Seong Haeon made her a bit worried. It seemed that Subaru Narukami had read the message, but he had just finished speaking. Hasuko immediately turned to stone. He was just watching. Both of them looked at her in confusion as she stood there stunned, and at that moment, inside a room filled with cartoon models, an excited voice rang out. A young man was sitting in a gaming chair in a modern room with an expensive PC. He looked at the large LED screen, unable to hide his excitement. Let's get started, shall we? A streamer specializing in analyzing matches of players with sharp insights and knowledge. He had defeated countless opponents and built a solid position for himself. A confident smile appeared. People whispered that he had demonstrated sharp analytical skills. While watching clips of various players, including Kurokawa Amon, who had just joined the Lamb Clan, he provided a comprehensive analysis of Kurokawa Amon. Hawkeye pointed to the screen displaying an image of Amon, a dark horse who was climbing the tower at breakneck speed. Some even called him the second Narukami. It was time for Hawkeye to take action, including Kazuki Kyojiro, a former member of the Lamb Clan. Could he become the strongest man? Kazuki Kyojiro of the Lamb Clan, Hawkeye analyzed. Kazuki Kyojiro is now a player representing Earth. The pressure on his shoulders must be immense. But today, I want to take a closer look at his skills. Of course, the legendary cross-generational Narukami Subaru is no exception regardless of what people say. The thunder belongs to this man. Narukami Subaru Hawkeye praised. When you think of a player at a level far superior to the others who comes to your mind, most of you right now, perhaps you are thinking of this man. That's right, Subaru Narukami. Hawkeye started the live stream excitedly. Hello, I am Hawkeye. Thank you for tuning in today. Today we will focus on dissecting the hottest player right now, Narukami Subaru. The comments immediately erupted. Narukami Subaru is back. Right. Isn't he still on the second floor? So soon. It turns out there are many Narukami Subaru. Is Subaru out of ideas? LOL, Hawaii is out of time. Most comments express doubt. Hawaii didn't pay much attention. He moved the mouse. Now don't ruin the atmosphere from the start. Hawaii began to review Subaru's battle. Hawaii couldn't comment further and could only exclaim, "Wow, insane." The commentary was also excited. What was wrong with this guy? LOL, and he's a newbie. This is a level far from the overestimated gacha god. What floor are you on? No more comments doubting Subaru's level. Hawkeye, who was still following him, hesitated. What was going on? He shivered, witnessing Subaru's performance to the point of only being able to utter one word peak. Hawkeye began to analyze. There was no focus like that. What ordinary person could use skills that well? He praised him, saying he had mastered his skills and only delivered what was necessary into his sword, wasting not a bit of power. The commentary was also filled with such praise. Feasible. What do you mean? Am I the only one who doesn't understand? I get it now. Not understanding just one word, God. If this is real, then it's truly insane. Howard felt that this was really crazy. The control ability and refined focus technique. I don't understand, it's just one word, but if this is real, then it's truly insane. Howard, everyone feels this is crazy, the ability to control and the delicate focus technique. Focus makes it possible, and the ability to judge its precise use when necessary means he truly didn't make a single mistake throughout this entire battle. He intently watched where this monster came from, thinking to himself, I bet it's... Half of you don't even understand what you're watching before the live session ends. I promise this guy will definitely be a big character, and I plan to keep following him. He will be in the upcoming Hawaii broadcasts. The comments below are still lively. I thought he was tanking something. Are you planning to hunt with him? Isn't that your viewpoint? If he climbs a bit higher, it would be fun to combine forces, but honestly, he is simply extraordinary, a comment that caught Hawkeye's eye. No conclusions today. He thought for a moment. Oh, right. I forgot to make a comment about Hawkeye. He thought for a long time and then decided to speak directly about his control, which might even surpass Narukami at his peak. Scene change. Subaru, deep in sleep, suddenly jolts awake as if something is preventing him from continuing to sleep. Subaru sits up and the system announces that Stage 6 is approaching. The fatigue has completely diminished. Do you want to postpone the challenge? Subaru recalls 2 conditions that must be met. To temporarily suspend the challenge, you must complete the previous stage before the next one starts, and your fatigue level must be 0. In other words, you must fully recover. Subaru scratches his head, reflecting that his fatigue level is 0. But my spirit still feels tired. Maybe I should pause the challenge for a bit. He picks up his phone to check and is surprised to see the view count. He says his final words before ending the live stream. Thank you all for watching today. The comments suddenly became busier than usual. Oh, is the stream over? Turns out it was just a sleep stream. Keep going, keep going. He also notices the change in viewer count. When did my viewership go up so high? Subaru says goodbye to the audience. I'm sorry, but the next stream will start the day after tomorrow. I will take a day off as soon as the system announces Subaru Narukami has ended the live stream. A light flashes opening a portal, and Subaru is suddenly transported out of his room. The system displays Explore Stage, and his phone rings with a notification. Subaru doesn't rush to leave, but stands still to check. He is bewildered when he sees a message that has been sent to him. It's an important letter from Star Entertainment. Subaru Narukami, thank you for your efforts. I am Hasuka from the management team of Star Entertainment. Please confirm the message I sent you. Our company fully supports streamers and ensures the highest revenue share in the industry. Subaru, suspicious, takes off his mask to read the letter again. Suddenly, he realizes the sender is Star Entertainment. Scene change. In a small cafe. Subaru is still intently looking at the letter that was just sent to him. Subaru goes online to learn about the company that sent the letter. Star Entertainment is a large MCN company specializing in managing streamers, one of the rapidly growing companies due to strong investment and support for streamers. He thinks to himself, the world has definitely changed. Now even companies like this exist, reading the information he just found. Subaru furrows his brow, pondering, and it is indeed a large company among MCNs in the entertainment sector. It is at the top. Subaru stumbles upon a post titled, Streamer Hawkeye linked with Star Entertainment. Like a shooting star, Narukami has appeared, and just regarding his control, he might have surpassed the original. Below, controversial comments erupt. Is Hawkeye's next target LOL? This guy only talks nonsense. Nonsense. As a commentator, you're also in the top tier. What's Hawk's next target? LOL, this guy just talks nonsense. Nonsense. As a commentator, you're also among the top. People quickly forget their roots and start advertising everywhere that he seriously praised that person. Hokai is famously extremely strict. Reading the comments, Subaru also recalled that Hokai was indeed a streamer of Suo10, a famous commentator known for his straightforward style. No hiding, huh? The comments section is very lively. Subaru felt shy and excited to learn that Hawkeye had praised his performance. He acknowledged that he had a good eye for people. On the street, a pair of feet hurried towards the cafe where Subaru was sitting. A large man suddenly stopped in front of the cafe to check his phone. This person was replaying the live version of. Hawkeye's commentary echoed especially regarding control. He might even surpass Narukami at his peak. Isak angrily turned off his phone after hearing Hawkeye's comments. Don't joke with me. He just reached the second floor. The guy angrily cursed at the screen. Hokai, what the hell? Once I climb up there, I will gouge their eyes out. The guy's anger was still simmering. He stomped his foot on the ground, damn it, and walked into the cafe feeling like he was bitten by a dog. It was still morning, and he had lost all motivation. Upon entering the cafe, he paused and sighed. His anger flared up again. Ha ha. Subaru had been sitting in the cafe for a while, which made him even more irritated. He muttered, Am I just having a bad day or what everywhere I go? Subaru was still unaware of what was happening. He was focused on reading the hot news on the screen. Isak angrily walked over to Subaru. Taking advantage of the fact that he wasn't paying attention, the guy intentionally knocked over the steaming cup of coffee on the table. The coffee had just been served and was still hot. Subaru jumped up in surprise, feeling the heat, and froze when he realized who was in front of him. Isak just intended to casually apologize. Oh, sorry. He pretended not to know. Subaru, right. We've been running into each other a lot lately, huh? The second floor is indeed small. The tone of the guy was clearly hostile. It was annoying to run into trouble so early in the morning. Subaru didn't bother to argue. He intended to stay silent and sit down, but Isak wouldn't miss the chance to provoke him. You want me to compensate for the coffee or not? You're always out of money, so that will be... Isak kept rambling while Subaru silently brushed past him and left. Yoshitaka hadn't finished his sentence. He felt heavily insulted. His eyes turned angry as he called after Subaru. Hey! He was furious and wanted to pick a fight. I'm pretty sure I warned you last time. Is there something wrong with your head? Suddenly, he became aggressive and grabbed Subaru by the collar. You bastard! He leaned close to Subaru's face and threatened, Drop that smug look of yours! Do you think I will let this go? If you want to get beaten up like that, then you should have said something. I will crush you again, just like before, just as you wanted. Subaru, feeling frustrated, looked at Ishikawa, acting crazy. He gently grabbed the guy's wrist and replied, Sorry, but... Subaru shrugged off Isak's hand. I don't have time for this today. Subaru's grip was not light. It left Isak's wrist bruised. He was taken aback, unable to believe he was this strong. Subaru calmly walked away. Just pretend you paid for my coffee. Thanks for treating me. He left, leaving Isak dumbfounded alone in the cafe, suddenly having to pay for the coffee. He shouted, Hey, come back! Isak's call did not make Subaru turn back. The cafe door slammed shut like a slap in the face to Isak. He sighed. I was planning to quietly climb the tower. He angrily cracked his knuckles. Before it was Subaru Narukami. Now it's Subaru Hosoi. He didn't even feel like drinking coffee anymore and stormed out, still in a bad mood. They all keep annoying me while Subaru is strolling down the street. He suddenly remembers something. Oh, right, he types a message to someone. Scene shifts to a bathroom. Hazuka is relaxing in the bathtub. Her phone buzzes with a notification. A message from Narukami appears on the screen. Subaru. Let's meet once inside the dungeon. A beam of light shines down, revealing the scene below. Monster corpses scattered everywhere. The battle has just ended. The sword in Subaru's hand is still stained red. He stands before the door, leading to the boss. A notification appears that he is entering the boss room of the dungeon, the lair of the exiled lizard man. Another notification appears, a level 3 trait that nullifies the side effects of the nameless demon sword. Subaru thinks seriously before entering the battle. He has gradually gotten used to this body. But From above, in the pitch-black void, a flame gradually descends towards a giant lizard, its body engulfed in raging fire. The boss display system shows that the salamander has appeared. The monster roars ferociously. Subaru does not hesitate and charges in attacking, while carefully thinking to prevent accidents like last time and mastering the use of lightning. I need to test how much power I can unleash, saying that he and the salamander clash. He uses lightning, channeling it into his legs to empower himself. Subaru easily leaps high. He lunges forward at this moment. He feels like he is reliving the golden age of his past life. The monster also leaps up. It opens its mouth, preparing to unleash a stream of fire aimed directly at Subaru. Immediately, he channels lightning into his sword. The system displays lightning, channeled into the nameless demon sword. Subaru swings the demon sword fiercely. His slash tears through the monster's flames. The system continuously announces that the level 3 trait nullifies the side effects of lightning nullification failed. Fatigue increases. Subaru ignores the warning. He still wants to test his strength, swinging his sword once more. This time, the demon sword slashes across the monster, creating a perfect arc, just as he claims victory. His system announces that he has conquered the dungeon, the lair of the exiled lizard man, leveling up, gaining strength, and increasing stamina. Leaving the dungeon, the sky has darkened. He glances at his fatigue level 61. Subaru silently admires the effect of reduced stamina consumption, better than he expected. I still have plenty of energy left for this. Even if my power increases, it will be fine. But he sighs. Looking at the screen, the display shows a D-rank tenure, a level 3 skill that nullifies the side effects of skills and items used by players. And it can be leveled up to 40,000 Subaru groans, isn't it? A bit harsh to require double the prestige points to level up, as Subaru is lost in thought. I wish someone would just appear and introduce me to a good job. A voice echoes from somewhere hunting. He looks in the direction of the sound from afar. A tall figure appears in the darkness. That voice is very familiar. The figure slowly approaches and asks, "Are you hunting?" A familiar face gradually emerges in the moonlight. It is Isak. This time he seems happy to see Subaru. We've known each other for a long time. But this is quite a surprise, running into someone I don't want to see right after a fight. Subaru feels frustrated. You really are persistent, Isak. I was actually thinking about it. You know, but due to my anger, I've reached my limit of patience. He continues to approach Subaru closer, provoking, "Why don't we just end it here?" Subaru looks at the man before him with disgust, thinking to himself, this guy. Scene shifts to the night in a bustling neighborhood under the magnificent buildings. Beautiful young women are strolling. Hawkeye walks into a small bar searching for someone. A hand is raised, waving at him. "Over here." John has been sitting there for a while. He smiles cheerfully upon seeing Hawkeye. "Hawkeye, it's been a while." Hawkeye greets back warmly. "Hey, long time no see." John politely replies, "Is the stream going smoothly?" Hawkeye sits down. He comfortably picked up the glass of water on the table. Dad is probably right. Most viewers are the same, so the numbers don't change much. John took a sip of water and calmly said, "Actually." "Well, that's better than things that are built slowly. They won't easily collapse." Hawkeye pouted when he heard John speak the truth. He wondered, by the way, why did you suddenly call me? You probably didn't call me out here just to drink tea, so just say it. John praised, "Wow, you are indeed sharp as your name, Hawkeye." He started talking about Subaru Narukami, the one you evaluated yesterday. "Are you serious about that?" Hawkeye also took a sip of water. "Did you seriously answer the rookie, huh?" "As I said, I think his talent is greater than Subaru Narukami at his peak. But can he reach that position? That's another story." His eyes were deep in thought as he considered that interesting matter. After hearing your evaluation, John pondered. "I understand. It turns out that's your evaluation." Hawkeye cheerfully asked back, "Why do you ask that?" John had no intention of hiding it. "I intend to recruit him for the company." Hearing him say that, you immediately agreed. "Indeed, you have a keen eye." "Good, but he still has too few viewers, so—" "You plan to recruit him, right?" "The recognition is too low." John fiddled with the glass of water in his hand. He said, "That's true, but hearing what you said made me confident about him." Then he made a suggestion. "Let's do a collaboration between you and Subaru and Narukami. Increasing the number of viewers and recognition is our job on Subaru's side. Isak is still challenging. Currently, it's just the two of us here. Subaru just wants to go home." You replied indifferently. Yeah, that's right. Ishikawa is still babbling. This happened because you were carried and entered the dungeon. You know that guy showed disdain. Looking at you, there's not a scratch on you. You must have run away immediately. That's why I told you to stay in your place, buddy. That guy kept talking non-stop like a machine, with a face that seemed to say he got up there by luck. Don't tell me you think you've become Subaru Narukami, or something like that. The guy leaned close to you whispering, dreaming of mastering lightning. Like that streamer, huh? Yoshitaka placed a hand on Subaru's shoulder. Subaru Narukami, that trash. If he's dead, then he should just lie down in the ground in the graveyard. The guy seemed annoyed. All of you make me sick, damn it! After saying that, he looked at Subaru as if seeking agreement right. Subaru helplessly looked at the noisy guy in front of him. You sighed. I didn't expect there to be an era filled with imitators of Subaru Narukami. Subaru also had a question he wanted to ask. I will also ask you something. Why do you see me as such an enemy? And Isak didn't expect you to ask him. He gave a simple reason. It's because your name has the word Subaru. Subaru was curious. So why do you hate that name? Everyone likes that name, right? Isak hesitated before your question. You know who my dad is, yet you still ask like that. Subaru was even more puzzled, not understanding what this conversation had to do with your parents. You're grown up now, yet whenever you say something you bring your parents into it. Isak introduced the high-ranked singer from the 9th floor. That name echoed, making Subaru surprised, and asked the singer not to say it was the legendary swordsman. A fragment of a past life appeared in Subaru's mind. A hurried announcement echoed urgently that an unimaginable event had occurred. Subaru Narukami from Lamnya had appeared like a comet from Earth. He had defeated the Ren-H string of the ancient continent with just a single blow. Subaru left, leaving the singer lying in a completely collapsed land. It happened in less than 30 seconds. He lay in a pool of blood, struggling to get up. Wait, I can still fight. His arm had dropped down. That was the way of a high-ranked individual from the 9th floor. Defeated, returning to reality, Subaru's provocation made Ishikawa furious. You bastard, don't casually call that name like that. Subaru questioned in summary, why do you see me as an enemy? Is it because of the nickname of your father? His eyebrows furrowed slightly as he continued. Do you know how much Hosoi had to endure because of that? Not weak. Isak didn't want to hear any more words. Shut up. If you keep babbling. He began to attack flames engulfing the two of them. Isak's voice was low. Subaru was still standing, watching what the guy would do. Isak's hands slowly transformed. He declared there was no need for more nonsense. Just go die. Isak gathered a fireball in his hand. His mouth declared once again, I hate Subaru Narukami. I hate Subaru Narukami so much it makes me nauseous. He's nothing special. But he captured all the attention and pretended to be noble because of that. Because of a leader like that, those people became complacent and died with him. He said with a smug expression, serves them right now, somewhere in hell. Perhaps they are rotting, receiving the consequences they deserve. Thinking of this, Isak smiled with satisfaction. He was casting spells while continuously cursing you with that name is your ultimate misfortune. His strike rushed toward Subaru, causing a huge explosion. He sighed, thinking he had killed Subaru. Oh, I couldn't control my power. After all, he was a friend. What terrible thing have I caused? Isak kept deluding himself about his strength. Next, perhaps, I will go kill that masked streamer. Suddenly, Subaru's voice echoed from within the pile of ashes. A mask, Isak panicked. He couldn't believe that after that last blow, he could still survive. Subaru stepped out from the thick smoke and flames. He appeared in the form of the live stream that Isak had just mentioned. You mean this. A scorched area after Isak's strike, the flames still flickering. Yoshitaka couldn't believe his eyes. The customer couldn't believe Subaru was still alive. Not even a scratch on his body. He was astonished. You took my flames head on. How is that possible? Subaru wasn't in a hurry. He simply replied to Isak's anger, feeling uncomfortable, right? Finishing the sentence, he suddenly charged straight at Isak. You little brat. A punch was thrown with tremendous force, heading straight for Isak's stomach. Causing him to roll his eyes back, Isak's pupils shook violently. He let out a groan. Fourth Isak collapsed at Subaru's feet. In pain, he screamed, blood continuously pouring from his mouth. Accompanied by painful screams, Subaru looked down with disdain, speaking ill of them. Isak Yoshitaka wiped the blood from his mouth, struggling to utter each word. Why can't you? Subaru calmly questioned, who is standing in front of you today? Subaru Hosoi, the one you bullied and made cry Subaru Narukami, wearing this mask. Or is it Subaru Narukami from Lamnya? He gently removed the mask. Looking directly at the one collapsing before him, Isak still wouldn't give in. Don't joke with me like that. So you are that streamer, Subaru Narukami, right? He struggled to stand up, a mocking expression on his face. What a joke, not that big. Even trash like you can learn it. He was gathering power into his hands while continuing to be arrogant. You think with that level, you can defeat me? A pathetic weakling like you isn't even worthy of carrying my sandals yet. You've learned that. He was channeling power into his hands while continuing to be arrogant. You think with that level, you can defeat me? The fact that a weakling like you, who's not even worthy of carrying my shoes, can learn that is pathetic. It means I'm even better than Narukami Subaru, right? Subaru stood still, listening to the guy ramble on about nonsense as Isaac roared in anger. Is that right, you bastard? He suddenly attacked, contrary to his hurried demeanor, but Subaru simply waved his hand gently. With just one strike, Isaac's arm was severed and flew straight up high. It all happened in the blink of an eye so fast that Isaac didn't understand what just happened. Subaru gently criticized, too bad, and replied, wrong. I'm amazed that you can spew out so much meaningless drivel that's completely off topic. Subaru's sword was pointed straight at Ishark's throat. He stammered, wait, what do you mean? He recalled Subaru's questions in fear, wondering how Subaru had endured such things. It's annoying to hear a punk like you bad-mouthing them right now. Isaac just realized the seriousness of the situation. He trembled in fear. Don't tell me Subaru is patiently watching Ishikawa struggle to stammer, you are Lam Narukami. Just as he finished his sentence, Subaru delivered a fatal blow and blood gushed out like a waterfall. He quickly ended Ishikawa's game. Blood from his body dripped down to the ground as he quickly collapsed. Subaru put his mask back on and left. So I was too lenient. Subaru told himself, let's consider this a thank you for lending me your body. The scene shifted to the next morning, still at the familiar cafe. But today, the staff in the cafe seemed more agitated than usual. What's going on? Is it a fanboy of Subaru Narukami or something? Doesn't he know shame? It seems he is drowning. Subaru was still sitting in the cafe, staring intently at the device in his hand, oblivious to the gossip behind him. He was a streamer. Men would stick to the policy. The true identity of Subaru Narukami is a huge advantage, making it so the opponent doesn't know his face. A girl walked in, sorry for making you wait. The person who entered was Hasuka. She was shy and blushing. Nice to meet you. I'm the one who contacted you. She quickly introduced herself. I am Hasuka, Subaru's manager. Nice to meet you. I am Subarumi. Hasuka flustered, shook his hand. I'm really honored to meet you. She blushed and looked up at Subaru's appearance, unable to help but exclaim how much they really resembled each other. She began to think further. What if Subaru Narukami is still alive and returns hiding his face with a mask? What if he is an imposter? She had been staring at Subaru for too long, making him wonder, is something wrong? Hasuka, flustered, realized she had gone a bit overboard. Yes, Hasuka recalled John's advice to make a good first impression to win the customer's heart. It's crucial, got it. Absolutely don't show any unreliable attitude. She worried she had already messed it up from the start. Subaru didn't understand why she was pulling her hair out. He asked her, are you a fan of Subaru Narukami? Hearing that, Hasuki's eyes lit up. Yes, a very enthusiastic fan. Subaru explained, I'm not the real deal, so calm down. Besides, manager, I think you are younger than me. Hasuka excitedly replied, no, I'm also a fan of yours. She was indeed a true fan. When she hit the right spot, she couldn't stop talking. Actually, I've been following you since you had no audience. Since you didn't even have an audience. It means I am your first audience when you defeated a bat and overcame Greg's challenge, but then chose the Thunder challenge to face him fairly. I was very surprised, and then Subaru didn't expect her to be such a passionate fan. Meanwhile, Hasuka kept chattering with such agile and skillful movements. Just watching. I also felt refreshed when you mastered it immediately. My hands were full of sweat as I had encountered the extreme fragments. Subaru was astonished as she listened to every word she said. She really was the first viewer. She remembered more things than I did. Inside the mask, Subaru smiled happily. Back then, I was so carefree. I was truly surprised that she had been following me. Hasuka was even more delighted. It was awesome. Right. I think this is fate. That's why I went straight to the company and begged, please let me be a manager after expressing the thoughts of a fangirl. She quickly returned to a professional demeanor. From now on, behave professionally to gain his trust. The contract has been prepared because you might be busy, so let me summarize it. The contract was firmly placed on the table. Regarding things like commercial advertisements, a clip broadcasting the event, etc., we will help create all kinds of added value that can be generated by using the symbol. Narukami Subaru took the contract and asked, so what should I do? Hasuka replied, just keep streaming as usual. We just need that. The job is so simple that it made Subaru suspicious if streaming could be that dull. Hasuki explained, because you are the first to master the pull starting from the head of the entire company, we all highly value you. She silently cheered herself on, doing great me. One last effort. She eagerly asked one last time, so what do you think are the terms acceptable? Suddenly, Subaru asked, do all the managers of stars have the same name as you? Hasuka. Subaru's question extinguished Hasuka's smile. She awkwardly withdrew. Everyone else is much more reliable and professional than me. I'm not that bad. But seeing her so flustered, Subaru quickly clarified, no, that's not what I meant by asking. Subaru glanced over at Hasuka, silently analyzing and assessing the aura she radiated. She was not an ordinary player. With a level like that, she is just a manager. Hasuka anxiously muttered, we're doomed, doomed, doomed. Doomed, doomed. Inside the mask, Subaru's face showed a hint of worry. In other words, from now on, the opponents he would face would be much stronger, with no time to rest. I have to keep speeding up. At this moment, Hasuka was worried. Her face fell as she read her inner monologue. She absolutely had to create a reliable impression. What if he refused? At this rate, should I force him to sign? Contrary to her thoughts, Subaru extended his hand. He accepted. I understand you are someone I can trust. Hasuka was surprised. She didn't think he would agree. Subaru sincerely said, please help me out. She was moved tears of happiness, welling up tightly, holding Subaru's hand. Here I am, she said, hoping he would help her. The live screen lit up and Subaru appeared, stepping back. Your live stream has quite a few viewers with some excited comments as they see you appear. Hello, everyone. I've been waiting for you. Hey, newcomer, you're getting too close. I can see that mask. Here we go with that content again today. The live screen displayed the number 703. Subaru was astonished. 700 viewers so early right after opening the stream. Was this thanks to Hasuka's announcement? Earlier, Hasuka had posted an announcement. The announcement guided the skill distribution schedule so the audience wouldn't have to wait long. Subaru began to enter the dungeon, so let's get started right away. The notification system began the 6th legend. The scene shifted to a heavy rainforest where an army was stationed. Inside a hut, many soldiers were gathered around their leader, Belius, who asked, where is Falcon the Benefactor? Falcon replied, and another soldier chimed in, I find it suspicious. Should we trust someone who isn't even a knight? Some others agreed. That's right. It's hard to believe that an outsider suddenly appeared and single-handedly defeated the boss of the giant tribe unless Peleus witnessed it himself. You could be fooled. Is that really the boss of the giant tribe? It must be a soldier. Peleus was extremely angry as the soldiers insulted his benefactor. How can you say that? From outside, a loud voice called out, Sir Peleus, a soldier, introduce Subaru. The benefactor has awakened. Peleus quickly ran over. Benefactor, are you all right? Subaru entered. Thanks to you, I can walk normally without assistance. As Subaru appeared, the soldier's suspicion increased. Is that the hero who defeated the boss of the giant tribe? Although wanting to be polite, he didn't look very strong. Of course, Subaru knew what they were thinking. It seems you don't believe I defeated it, or perhaps you don't want to believe it. Last time, Hasuka showed Subaru a trick. By performing a saved pose, I could adjust the mic frequency so only the audience could hear my voice. Subaru silently thanked. This was a quite useful feature in such a boring situation. He walked past the soldiers, muttering under his breath, How shameless! The comments began to get interesting. Don't underestimate him. He just smiled under that mask. He's really confident. First, thank you. An elderly soldier extended a polite hand, introducing himself. I am Deo. Subaru politely replied. Nice to meet you, right? Dia expressed. I worry about protecting the village, but everyone was trampled. Subaru asked back. Trampled? Dia sadly replied. Yes, by that guy. Dia's ambiguity left Subaru confused. That guy? You mean there's someone even more dangerous than the boss? Almost. Dio agreed. Yes, as you may know, the giants were actually those who waged war against the gods, sealed somewhere, and disappeared. Most of the giants here are more like thoughts or traces they leave behind than suddenly trembling in fear when that name is mentioned. However, the giant's name that appeared after you killed the boss is different. He approaches the legendary giant, an unbelievable entity that still exists. If his story stimulates the comments during the live session, then that means level 8 has never been reached before. So if it's true, how could anyone defeat him? Not only are the comments confused, but all the warriors are bewildered after hearing Del Subaru's story, yet he calmly responds, We have no choice but to defeat it now. It's impressive to see you so confident and not afraid, but remember we are in a position where we must seek help, and that is definitely an impossible request. People keep mocking him for saying that because he hasn't faced it yet. Belos spoke up, recounting a legend passed down from ancient times that at the peak of Mount Cao Cho, a piece of thunder is hidden. He paused for a moment, and the only one who could find it is, I believe it can only be the benefactor. In the village, the villagers were desperately fleeing from the raging smoke and fire everywhere as a group of giants entered the village, but behind them appeared an even larger figure. It repeated the tune of a giant 10 times the size of the other giants entering the village, mumbling strange words, my child. It grabbed a soldier who panicked and screamed, Stop! The giant lifted the person he had just caught high. I will. Then he crushed that person in his hand like a toy, growling, I will send you off with the blood of humanity. All the scenes just now were condensed in Subaru's view from above. Subaru, riding a horse, looked down at the village, realizing that the defeated one earlier was his child. Too big is that a real giant Subaru pulled the reins and left. He sighed, looking back one last time. He was really trying to kill everyone below. The comments continued. The test is trying to kill us, LOL, so true. Impossible things are happening. LOL, the test is being moderated, hey, before leaving. Peleus advised Subaru that it would take about 3 days for the giant to reach here. If you can't find the thunder by then, just run away. That is the only way to protect the benefactor. Before Subaru is the heavenly mountain, a towering peak, and he is on his way there. To defeat the giant, the power of thunder is essential. It could be the key to this challenge. A few comments appeared doubting. Try at least 2 times, I guess. Reading such comments, Subaru confidently asserted no. There is no challenge in this tower that I cannot conquer. Suddenly he realized he had misspoken. Damn it, I accidentally used a catchphrase. The comments were excited, so confident, LOL, I've heard that before. Is that a catchphrase? Suddenly the system continuously announced, Safety Asset has registered a mission, so if you defeat it, you will receive 3,000 prestige points. Subaru Narukami, who registered a mission for an impossible task, Batham job, registered a mission. It's just a small amount of money. Subaru was secretly pleased. Good. I wasn't detected, and that's not a bad reaction, right? Subaru tightened the reins. The horse neighed once and then stopped. He had arrived at the destination. Subaru got off and stared inside at a piece of thunder hidden here. In front of Subaru was a gigantic cliff. He began to fumble among the rocks. Subaru recalled Peleus's words that the piece of thunder was something that appeared in legends. Whether it is a special power, an item, or even a person, there is actually no information at all. Subaru asked if he knew how to obtain it. Bellisus regretfully said, Unfortunately, we only know the location of the mountain and the legend. But one thing is certain, Bellisus affirmed the one who once held the thunder destroyed the giants. Hasuka was calling inside, and a voice rang out. What is it? Hasuka joyfully shouted, The contract has been completed, sir, from the other side. Jenner H. suspiciously asked her what she said, really. He is proud. Ha, you did it. Finally, Hasuka became a nice person and received compliments. She joyfully threw her bag and rushed straight into the room. Hasuka excitedly thought, right, with this I will also be respected. Wait, are you complimenting me? John replied. Of course, I met Hawkeye, but there's something I want to tell you soon. Not letting him finish, Hasuka turned off the device. She happily lay on the bed to relax. I'm done with work. Let's watch the stream right. She cheerfully turned on Subaru's stream to watch on the screen and also saw it live. This is the ultimate joy of an otaku. Just in time, the scene showed Subaru confidently asserting that there's no challenge in this tower that I cannot conquer. Her eyes were glued to the live stream, suddenly widening. She sat up straight, her face full of doubt. Here, Hasuka mumbled a phrase from over 25 years ago that just came out naturally. At this moment, on Subaru's side, a large rock was violently shaken by a strong force. Below, the comments were buzzing. Is he using his hands? Don't tell me in despair. Did anyone say that on the rock a deep dent appeared and Subaru didn't stop? He challenged whatever was harder than him and swung his hand with all his might. Fight until the end. The punch created a huge explosion. The rock shattered into many pieces, dirt and stones fell around, and Subaru finally saw what he was looking for. His sturdy legs walked on the large rocks. Subaru clenched his fists. Of course, many would wonder, that feeling cannot be conveyed through the stream. A gigantic thunder energy was calling its thunder strongly behind this door. He stepped forward quickly and firmly. The comments surged. The door looked enormous, like one used by the giant clan. How could it be opened without a key? Break it. It's your specialty, but how? He gently touched the door, and beams of light slowly revealed themselves. He thought it was indeed a blatant clue. In other words, the system's voice echoed, creating a level 3 thunder trap to negate the side effects of thunder within him. The real challenge would probably take place inside. A powerful punch was thrown down. Subaru jumped up. If you call me enthusiastically like that, he shouted loudly, then I will respond. A stream of golden energy flew and pierced through the stone wall. He stood and watched the whole scene. His heart was calm. The door slowly opened and he stepped in slowly. The comments continued. He kept moving forward. A big event was about to happen. Let's go. Subaru was surprised to see something. His footsteps suddenly halted as if he made a firm decision. He continued to step forward with determination. The mechanical voice continued as he entered the path the thunder passed through. You cannot leave until the scene is over. Everyone stood there silently. Each person had their task. You ask Belos, do you really think he will get the thunder? Belos confidently replied, he can, I'm sure of it, even though he's an outsider. Why do you place so much trust in him? He smiled cheerfully. That person has proven himself already. There's no need to doubt. If it's thunder, then so what? Anyway, we will all die anyway. A trembling voice echoed from behind. He didn't understand. Hawkeye bit his lip. That giant's power, I directly experienced it in that village. Bello sat down beside him. Even so, we must not give up, right? Let's place our trust in him once in that young hero. The one who did everything for us, without asking for anything in return. His eyes were filled with tears. It's easy to say. Suddenly, everyone panicked as everything shook violently. A panicked voice echoed something's wrong. A person rushed in looking frantic, and everyone was left speechless in disbelief. In the cold cave, Subaru coldly observed everything around him as he slowly moved deeper inside, wondering what he was supposed to do here as comments began to rise. Nothing at all, absolutely nothing. The thunder was too quick to see, that's all. His gaze was contemplative. It made sense thunder before a lightning strike is just scattered charges in the air. So of course I wouldn't be able to see it. It turns out it's not a challenge to be found with the eyes that's the name of this challenge. The path that the thunder passed through and the powerful lightning deep inside was calling to him. Its pull suddenly made him freeze, his pupils dilating sharply as he punched the ground hard. Perhaps this challenge is thunder that cannot be seen with the naked eye. Scattered in the air, and the deeper I go, the stronger its reaction. Suddenly, a golden flash appeared, and a rock hurtled towards them, creating an explosion. What were those comments just now? What was that? Oh my, it must be true. Even knowing that I still have to move forward. You really have no taste. It seems like this time they are testing my endurance. His gaze was sharp and cold. If I can't endure it, I'll die, a mechanical voice echoed. Ialori has gifted 100 reputation points. What are you afraid of? Many more people are gifting you reputation points. He boldly stepped forward, determined. His gaze was sharp. Thank you all very much. A pot of soup was being boiled, steaming hot. Sugar quietly sat on the chair, sighing, his eyes thoughtful. Vina burst through the door, startling him, and he quickly raised his hand to cover something. To her astonishment, she sighed in relief, teasing him about what he was hiding. "What are you watching? Something inappropriate, right?" He stammered. "I'm not hiding anything. I'm just too tired." She sat down next to him, smiling cheerfully. "I heard your hair grows faster. You know that, right?" He helplessly replied. "Don't mention those strange things." "I told you it's not like that." She continued, "Since you said that I stopped watching the stream, but it can't be helped." He hesitated. "I understand, so what are you doing here?" She took a bite of cake, calmly reacting. "What do you mean, I can't relax on the sofa?" He stammered, his voice slightly trembling. "No, it's not like that. If it were, I would endure and try my best." He shouted in frustration. "You don't have to say it like that." She covered her ears, irritated. "Hey, my ears are about to explode. Don't shout so suddenly." He continued to yell. "Just rest as you like. Don't worry about me." His hands trembled, sweat pouring out. As he held the phone, he opened his mouth. "You're always stubborn and never listen to others." She frowned, truly a weird guy. Annoyed, he stood up. "It's really something." He curiously asked, "Where are you going? You know you could stay longer. You could eat some bread or even lie down if you want." She went into the room and slammed the door. He sighed in relief. He raised the phone, almost getting caught. "If she knew I was watching the stream, she would definitely make a fuss again. I can't even dare to imagine it." His worried expression showed that even if our positions were reversed, "Subaru wouldn't forget us," the voice from the phone echoed. "So basically, if I can't endure it, I'll die." Tiger was lost in thought about his personality and way of speaking. "It really is like Subaru. Thank you for the mission reward. However you are, nothing like Subaru when it comes to desperately grinding for reputation points." I wonder what this is about. Suddenly, a gentle hand rested on his shoulder. A deep, hoarse voice said, "You should ask yourself that question." Reina placed her hand on his shoulder, his face pale. Her voice carried a dangerous tone. "Do you really think I don't care? Trying to trick me? You are still too inexperienced." A mechanical voice echoed, "Create the path of thunder." Tears slowly fell down. Subaru silently felt everything was too ephemeral. He walked slowly, seemingly devoid of any strength. Suddenly, golden light sources surrounded him. The system's voice announced progress, 2-3%. His arms became sensitive, trembling continuously. A familiar feeling arose within him. "When it comes to thunder, I have faced it more times than I can count." His gaze became sharp, a look of determination. The system's voice urgently stated progress, 2-3%. He thought there was still a long way ahead. He continued to walk. Although still quite hesitant in his heart, let's assume the goal is very close. Comments arose. "Why isn't he running? Wouldn't it be better if he ran? Hurry up, please." He coldly looked at the comment lines. "I might not read the chat from now on. Honestly, just run." It seems he has been too seriously injured to read the chat, afraid of living, scared of dying. He thought achieving the goal was obvious, but if possible, I want to aim for more than that. Subaru's face appeared on the computer screen. Hawkeye stared intently at the live broadcast. He thought of John's words, "You and Subaru Narukami should cooperate." Thinking of that, he coldly said, "How long has it been since John personally carried out a project?" John placed a glass of water down. He spoke. "I always told you, didn't I? In the streaming entertainment industry, you can only do half of the work." Understanding that this is part of the evaluation, he slowly continued, "Who his family is and which players exist in this era will determine his fame." He smiled appreciatively. "That's right. Subaru Nakarami's stream is not about interacting with fans, but more like a vlog of a veteran player, while Subaru can be a rookie streamer. But you just need to continue your usual commentary style." His voice was slow. This might really be an opportunity riding a comet to become a star, perhaps shining alongside him. Hawkeye, hearing this, felt motivated. He clenched his fists as if he had made up his mind. His eyes sparkled, pupils constricting fiercely. Then he smiled. "You can." He quietly looked up at the calm sky, sitting on a chair with his lazy hands resting on the back of his neck, a star above him. Reaching out to touch a distant star, I could truly become like them. Returning to reality, he was shocked to see himself reaching out towards something. His voice was helpless as he wondered what he was doing. He looked closely at the screen and suddenly shouted, "Are you crazy?" On the screen, the live broadcast was still ongoing. Subaru stood there battling against the golden energy, his body heavily injured, yet he still struggled to push forward. His steps were shaky, but he stubbornly continued forward. Subaru was panting heavily from the pain, with thunder rumbling deeper into his body. He looked down at his hands and thought, this should be enough. He continued. Even the smallest meridians throughout his body, including the Ren and Du channels, were beginning to fill with thunder. A mechanical voice announced, "Progress 27%. The process of unblocking the small meridians was underway. The thunder was stabilizing within his body, and he thought he had to control it no matter what happened. The Ren and Du channels are the central pathways of the body. The small meridians refer to the connections throughout the body. If the small meridians are unblocked, it means the internal energy has spread to every corner of the body." He seemed quite worried. Subaru had not undergone the process of purifying the small meridians. In other words, he was taking a shortcut. The system's voice was cold. In an unfavorable state, electric shocks began, and fresh blood slowly dripped down. Subaru thought that normally one would do this with their mana, relying on external thunder to make it easier. But it brought unimaginable pain. Subaru slowly closed his eyes in resignation as drops of blood fell along the path he took, staining the ground red. Hasuka sat on the bed holding a phone. She was watching Subaru's live broadcast, looking worried, as sweat dripped down in large drops. Her heart had unblocked the small meridians. "Are you really going to do this here?" In his body, he moved, not relying on his mana or internal energy, but on external force. Surely the pain was indescribable. Most people wouldn't be able to endure it, and would definitely faint. Even dying in a challenge wouldn't affect reality. She stared at Subaru's image on the screen. The pain felt just like in real life. She gritted her teeth, her body trembling. Why did it have to come to this? Her eyes were filled with tears. Why must it be pushed to this extent? Subaru continued to walk amidst the loud mechanical sounds. Progress 53%. The process of unblocking the small meridians was ongoing, and the thunder was stabilizing within his body. With an increase in mana, his body was covered in wounds, collapsing to the ground. It was all his fault. He felt overwhelming disappointment, as if he had killed them. CEO Hyun stared intently at the phone screen. He spoke up. "I always say this, don't I? There's no challenge that can't be conquered." He confidently asserted, "Don't worry," he said to the joy of everyone. "In the end, I am the victor." Subaru's voice was weak, seemingly devoid of strength. He felt like he was going insane, thinking if he hadn't been so careless, if he hadn't pressured them with his excessive confidence. His gaze was cloudy, tears streaming down. If it weren't for him, no one would have to die. Kazuki, with a blood-stained face, spoke up, a sneer on his lips. "You all failed because you were too complacent." Subaru went mad. He ran quickly forward. All his steps behind him were pools of fresh blood. He continuously blamed himself for being powerless, collapsing to the ground. Seemingly out of strength, he gasped for breath, his hands covered in wounds, trying to reach out as if to grasp one last ray of hope, transitioning to a vast prairie. With the endless green meadow, Subaru glanced at the leaves swirling around him, murmuring, "Where is this?" He suddenly noticed a group of people sitting around a campfire in front of him. Subaru froze for a moment, his body suddenly tensing up, his pupils widening as he exclaimed, "Everyone! Suhei, Soya, Kei, Yuri, even Sigur and Xena." Subaru hurriedly ran towards them, wondering if it was all just a dream. Not long after he had gotten closer to their backs, Subaru's eyes welled up with tears as he smiled faintly. Of course, it must be like that. Right. Oh my God, this is truly a horrifying nightmare. At the very least, let me hear what I dreamed about. Just then a voice rang out. "Subaru, you really brought us to our deaths." "I don't want to die." These words left Subaru in shock. "Suhei Soya," Chino interjected from one side. "You keep talking about big things, and then—" The woman now had a gaping hole in her stomach, her tone filled with resentment. "Why didn't you protect us?" He opened his eyes wide, only able to call out Chino's name right after. A bright red flame erupted right in the middle. Subaru, drenched in sweat, stammered, unable to speak. He couldn't do anything in front of the fire that was burning them all. Subaru reached out his hand and shouted loudly, "Wait!" He helplessly screamed in the sea of flames. "Everyone, don't go! Wait a moment!" Subaru, feeling uncomfortable, shut his eyes tightly, enduring this loss. He collapsed, mumbling, "Please!" As the flames grew fiercer, creating a blinding light. That light helped Subaru return to reality. He knelt down, thinking to himself, so this is the dreamscape that often occurs while clearing the meridians. He almost lost control, and the system immediately announced a progress of 97.87%. While clearing the meridians, a small thunderstorm stabilized in your body mana +1. Subaru's face darkened as he wondered who came up with this crazy challenge. He stood tall before the brilliant golden lightning, thinking, "Thank you for reminding me why I'm still alive." Kazaki's face gradually appeared in Subaru's mind, transitioning to a chaotic place. The townspeople were standing behind a line of knights, all holding weapons in fear. A giant monster suddenly appeared just outside their barricade, and they could only wait for the moment to charge. Suddenly, it bared its teeth in a mocking grin. The knights, seeing this, turned to discuss. "Are you kidding me? Is that really the boss? What about the masked guy who abandoned us?" Just then, a voice from behind rang out, making the two turn to look. "Our benefactor will definitely come back," Belos confidently affirmed. "You have to believe. You're entrusting the fate of this village to a stranger. And you don't even know his name, yet you dare to doubt him." They hesitated, denying, "We don't have him." He frowned, scoffing, "How shameful, and you call yourself a knight." Suddenly a hand patted Peleus on the shoulder. "You're right," he added. "Before blaming others, we should remember that protecting the village is our duty." He then drew his sword, pointing it forward. "Knights are not those who are protected. They are the ones who protect others." With that, he dashed forward at lightning speed, raising his sword, inspiring the people behind him to follow. "Today, let us die like true knights." Meanwhile, Subaru's system announced a progress of 99%, and a golden elixir circle immediately appeared. He stared at it blankly, questioning what it was, but based on that progress, it must be the target. It displayed that his fatigue had reached 97, causing Subaru to pause for a moment. Golden streams of mana flowed through him. Subaru ran toward the source of the energy, telling himself, "One more step." The system warned, "You must reduce fatigue. Going any further will be very dangerous." Yet one of his feet still lifted up, and at that moment, a strong foot slammed down onto the ground. It turned out that Belos had taken a run-up to jump. He swung his sharp sword to the side, using all his strength. He made a decisive slash at the monster, blood immediately splattering from its body. The monster raised its head and let out a piercing scream as it bent down. It threw a punch at Belos, but in midair, meanwhile, Belos was charging forward with his sword in hand, loudly calling out, "Leave the rest to me." Peleus quickly landed on a nearby rock. He used his strength to jump in front of the monster, which was momentarily surprised, and looked up at Peleus charging towards it. He tightened his grip on the hilt of his sword. With a face full of murderous intent, Peleus delivered a slash right across the monster's face. It gritted its teeth in discomfort and growled a few times before it leaned back. Flesh and skin splattered everywhere as it collapsed to the ground just as Peleus landed to the side. The other knights, seeing this, cheered joyfully, exclaiming that they had done it. Sir Peleus and Sir Deo have finally taken it down. "Digesty already, stomping around here as if this is your home. Filthy monster, all thanks to you, Sir Deo." Sir Peleus lamented that the most dangerous one he warned us about is already dead. Finally able to rest, he leaned back, panting. Dio raised his face and continued, "Didn't I tell you, those guys change sides faster than flipping a pancake? Turns out they aren't that impressive. It's just that Sir Dio and Sir Peleus are too strong. Now we just need to finish off the remaining giants." And before he could finish his sentence, a giant foot stomped down on him. Deo looked in panic at the one responsible, confirming that it was indeed that guy. Belial shouted in fear, "This guy is on a completely different level." The scene shifted to Subaru, who reached out towards the circle. Amid the announcement of progress at 99.9%, Subaru tightened his grip, muttering, "I will make you regret this in hell." Then the system displayed a progress of 100%, his pupils shining brightly with a tone full of murderous intent. "Kazuki, I will take your head as a souvenir." Meanwhile, golden energy radiated around Subaru, and moments later, bolts of lightning concentrated around him. Subaru turned his back, thinking to himself. Finally, he let out a sigh, lamenting that it was finally coming to an end. The whites of Subaru's eyes began to show long black streaks as his body leaned back after absorbing that energy. The system continuously announced, "Small meridian unblocking completed. Magic amplification rate increased by 20%. Casting speed of all skills increased by 20%. All stats increased by 2. Subaru gritted his teeth, enduring the pain. If you still have enough strength to throw another blow, at least give me a heads up. After that, he lay sprawled on the shattered ground, and the system displayed that the 6th legendary quest had been completed. The scene shifted to John, who was sitting pensively in front of his computer screen. He looked at the comments about the insane difficulty, saying he passed out again. "I wonder when he will wake up this time," he muttered. It seems he can only push himself to a certain limit. Oh, it looks like he isn't suited for streaming. Just then, his phone vibrated with a call from Hoai Kai. He answered saying, "I'm currently watching Subaru Narakami's stream." He exclaimed, "Oh really, you too, John? That's insane." John calmly proposed a solution and explained so everyone could understand. Hawkeye smiled brightly, saying, "This guy is really going to become a star." As a player and streamer, he wondered, "Do you see it that way?" Actually, I think it will be tough for him. Clearly, he resembles a player more than a streamer. He scratched his head in agreement. That's right. That's the core content that everyone is following this stream for, a Subaru Narakami that is closer to the original Subaru Narakami, not a streamer. In other words, they would witness the birth of a player, Subaru Narakami. John frowned and interjected, "At real time just then on the live screen." Subaru's arms were slowly moving. He struggled to stand up, making the commentators excited. This time he woke up a bit early. "It's great to see him alive. Finally awake, huh?" Subaru slowly opened his eyes, his breath becoming increasingly rapid. He held his head with his hand cursing under his breath. "Damn, I don't know how tired I am." The system immediately displayed 81. Subaru silently assessed. Good. It's lower than before, so the higher index must have had an unexpected impact from the final lightning strike. But the result isn't bad. A series of information has been transmitted, completing the mission and earning reputation points. The current reputation points are 20,400, he exclaimed, having saved a significant amount. An icon appeared, rank D, a skill type that enhances the skill limits of items and skills used by the player. Subaru summoned his lightning ball in his hand, reminding himself, "But it's still not enough to enhance the skill quality. If I defeat that giant, it might be enough, and this is the key to taking it down." The information about the ball appeared the lightning spear cannot be traded. A stable equipment level weapon, an ancient spear carved from pure lightning. A single thrust will deliver a devastating, decisive blow with limited uses. The remaining area was filled with chaotic comments about the giant throwing millions of hits. "Is that thing falling out here? Are you kidding? By the way, that's because of his account." Subaru gasped and thought to himself, "Although it's a normal one-time use item, this is not even available on the 8th floor, let alone this early." He raised his voice. "It doesn't look like a spear, right?" He reached out his finger and pressed a button. Subaru then stretched his muscles, mumbling that high-level items can change shape based on certain conditions. Everyone commented, "How do you even know about that? Dude, you're talking like a pro now." Subaru entered the cave alone. "All right, let's go eliminate that thing." The crowd cheered through the small screen, blow it away with lightning strikes. He switched scenes to where Peleus was, his face clearly showing fear as he stared blankly at the huge eye in front of him, a giant towering up, making everyone terrified. It tossed its long silver hair back. The monster let out a loud roar, its mouth full of drool. The system displayed the giant's seed has been swallowed, recording of the giant. A knight suddenly ran towards it, making Peleus call out loudly, "What do you think you're doing?" Tears streamed down his face as he laughed helplessly. "I told you, didn't I? You guys know nothing, oh divine beings. I am not like those foolish people." He knelt down, pleading, "Please have mercy on me." The giant looked down from above and spoke, "Do not equate me with those filthy cowards." He hurriedly ran over to advise, "What are you doing?" "Stand up, Bilios. Hurry up and get the villagers as far away as possible." Run. Suddenly, something made him stop. He stood behind, panicking, shouting, and at the same time a loud crash echoed as two people went to heaven right in front of Belios. He looked at the dust around and thought to himself, "There's no way to win." Belios turned around, looking for a way out. He looked at the giants behind the village and realized he was blocked. Belios's eyes widened, sweat pouring down continuously. He gritted his teeth, calming himself, and a moment later, Peleus shouted, "I know who killed your son. I know exactly who did it." The giant immediately spoke, "The one who killed the boy is him." He bent down, his tone filled with killing intent. He pulled out his sword, hesitating to say, "That is." Belios pointed the tip of his sword in one direction, indicating over there. "The one who killed your son is that way." Gathering strength to kill you and your race after finishing his words, he silently prayed, "Please fall for it. Go that way." The giant still stared intently at the direction Pelis pointed, then turned around and roared, "You lie. Your words are tainted with lies. So the one who killed my son is not here. You just pointed that torn sword at a random spot. If you don't answer immediately, suddenly a bolt of lightning shot out from the mountain range, causing it to halt." The monster was extremely astonished by the sight. Belos was just as surprised to see a tornado forming on the other side, exploding at the mountain's peak. He panicked, sweat streaming down, wondering who his benefactor was at that moment. Subaru stood at the mountain's peak, looking down at the display system. The seventh thunderstorm was about to begin, he muttered. "All right, this is the final act." A pile of comments appeared, and it grew louder. It was still developing. Subaru pondered, if something stronger than this appeared, then this challenge wouldn't be called content anymore. The second floor of the comment section was buzzing. This was a type of preservation of distorted misery. "Even if I gathered, everyone, are you really going to fight that thing? Shouldn't we be running away?" Subaru, with countless scratches on his body, spoke up. "It's fine, no need to overthink it. I just need to land one hit," he thought, summoning the Thunder Spear. "Right now, it's not an opponent I can confront directly. I have to take it down before it charges at me." A second later, Subaru raised it high. The notification system activated. Activating the Thunder Spear, a bolt of lightning shot straight up into the sky. It displayed that the Thunder Spear was initializing with a 10.1% activation rate, followed by hundreds of thousands of Thunder Spears shooting up. They spiraled together like an endless tornado. Subaru stood there channeling energy into the sky. The system suddenly reported that fatigue had reached 84, but he still wouldn't let go. Fatigue had reached 85. Then Subaru's fingers seemed to grasp a weapon, and a spear instantly appeared in his hand. The information transferred activation rate 33.1%. Subaru tightened his grip on it. The system reported that the side effects of the Thunder Spear were nullified, but the nullification failed due to very low compatibility. He coughed up a mouthful of blood, silently lamenting. "Indeed, my skill level is still too low to use a legendary item. Even so, this body has to endure." The warning sounded. Fatigue had reached 88. Activation rate 50%. A series of comments displayed looking at Subaru's cold face. Since learning Thunder, he had endured a lot. Perhaps he was starting to enjoy it. At this rate, he must be addicted. Subaru was momentarily startled to see the giant looking at him. So they were paying attention, huh? The commentators confirmed. How could they not notice? "Even my grandmother saw you pointing your weapon forward, exclaiming, 'That's right,' after creating such a grand spectacle." It would be very strange if no one noticed. The notification system reported an activation rate of 78.5%. The giant looked at the beam of light in front of him, muttering, "Thunder," as he stepped toward it with a tone of hatred. "So you are the one who killed my son." The monster running while mumbling was indeed you. Belos shouted, "Where are you going? I am your opponent." He suddenly glanced to the side. At this moment, several giants charged through the sea of flames. The monster squinted at the mountain range, erupting with thunder strikes, mumbling, "My son Bidai must have suffered." The monster continued to move, whispering, "I will return that suffering." The thundering footsteps grew louder. The monster couldn't help but run quickly, throwing a punch forward, roaring with all its might. For all of you, the giants used their strength to leap toward Subaru and attack, opening their wide mouths to roar. He gripped the Thunder Spear tightly as the system notification appeared. Activating the Thunder Spear, activation rate 88.5%. He thought to himself, the chance is 55-10 to hit or miss. That's it. In the chat channel, everyone was discussing how he planned to strike. "No joke too fast. If I miss, I'm dead right." Subaru's eyes widened, not taking them off him. The image of Captain appeared, reminding him not to look away. No matter what happens, keep your eyes on that target. That's where a spear will be thrown from. Forget about throwing straight or creating a perfect arc. Clear all those unnecessary thoughts from your head. Predict his movements. You don't need to do that right. Just let it be. Forget about the weight and shape of the spear. You are not like other spear users because you are Narukami Subaru, he heard Captain say. Subaru gripped the spear tightly, a slight smile forming on his face. Currently, the system notification was initializing the Thunder Spear with a 95.2% activation rate. Subaru wondered to himself. So what should I do now? He sighed. After all, it's not like he's about to throw a regular spear. He smirked. In that case, it's simple. Don't throw it away. Shoot it. The giant is getting closer to you, but you're still holding on tightly. The chat is panicking. What are you doing? Hurry and launch it before you hesitate any longer. Subaru stared at the giant. Just a moment longer, it was glaring at him and charging faster. Its feet stomped hard on the ground, causing rocks and dirt to crack. He charged like an arrow, his fist clenched, swinging at the giant. The giant leaped high above Subaru. Thunder and lightning erupted from his attack, scattering in all directions. Creating a powerful impact, he was in an attacking stance. The notification sounded activation rate 100% successfully initiated. His hand tightened as he pulled the spear back. Subaru was determined. There was only one chance, no matter what. The beast roared, reaching out towards him, diving down. He thought to himself that he would finish it in one blow. With that thought, he threw the lightning spear with all his might. The spear flew swiftly, piercing the beast and creating a catastrophic explosion. The beast let out a cry, tears streaming down its face, mumbling a spell before dying. Then its body disintegrated into dust. Subaru stepped forward safely, looking cool as the chat exploded with excitement. They really did it. It was insane. Look at this. Truly not a waste of life. A notification appeared. The Thunderous Seed has been defeated, completing Stage 7. Then a series of notifications popped up. Strength increased by 2. Swiftly health increased by 2. Concentration increased by 3. Magic increased by 1. Received 5,000 achievement points and obtained the Lightning Core. A stone appeared before him. Subaru reached out for the Lightning Core. Is this really it? When his hand touched the stone, it shone with a blinding light, forcing him to close his eyes. After a moment, he slowly opened them in astonishment, looking around. The place he stood was a land entirely in shades of purple. Where am I? Suddenly, a giant figure appeared in the sky, staring down at him. He was startled. The pressure emanating from it caused Subaru pain. What is happening? I can't speak. He knelt down, his body unable to move. A series of figures stared at him as notifications flooded in. An unknown person is watching you. 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 Subaru widened his eyes, trying to convey something. Are you trying to say something to me? The lightning core in his hand glowed, the light piercing through his fingers. The darkness was dispelled by the lightning core, revealing a bright sky. The main notification appeared. The thunderstorm will now begin. Through the lightning core, you can search for clues in the village. Subaru must escape that strange place. He then noticed the chat. Why are you sitting down when it's already over? Subaru Narukami has ended the live stream. He was about to faint again. He raised his head. It turns out it wasn't a cutscene. Sorry, I passed out for a moment. The chat cheered when they saw him stand up. Why did you faint so many times in just one test? Indeed, Subaru, that shadow of yours was truly a legendary level test. Subaru grabbed the chat board. Oh, right. If you don't receive reputation points, the notification appeared. Mission completed from Agent Susan. Received 3,000 reputation points. Mission completed from the war goddess, Miss White. Received 3,000 reputation points. Current reputation points are 40,120. The chat is going wild. Now you're rich. All right, let's head back to the village. Show us the lightning core. He sighed. I'm a bit tired, so everyone hearing that got annoyed at a time like this. You're making it difficult for me, you greedy bastard. Goodbye then. See you all later. Subaru disconnected. Subaru Narukami has ended the live stream, transitioning to a store. Hasuka's voice rang out. You really did well in that challenge. Subaru wondered, not really. Was that kind of stream okay? She reassured, yes, absolutely perfect. Yesterday, the view count was the highest, even over 3,000. You didn't notice, did you? You were surprised over 3,000, sorry. I was focused on the challenge, so I didn't pay attention. She was startled. Oh no, that's a compliment. You don't understand. Over 3,000 for a new streamer is extraordinary. The moment you finished the stream was perfect in a way. Your fatigue turned out to be good. Subaru confirmed that's right. That's exactly the part everyone is most curious about, like wanting to see the next episode of a show. Hasuka wondered if you had planned it that way. You replied, I intended to check the rewards with the viewers in the next stream that way. My reaction will be genuine, not acting. She gasped, really. So you understand too, that old man must be worrying for nothing. Actually, today I have prepared a gift for you. You were surprised, really? She crossed her legs, something you won't be able to refuse. She smiled mysteriously, a very special gift. Hasuka blushed, looked for the sim of someone named Hawaii Subaru. Hearing that, you began to search, as she said. Yes, a blonde man appeared chatting. All right, as the title says, today's topic is this. Oh wait, should I use a different topic for today? Anyway, no more nonsense. Everyone just watch first. Narukami the second, or will he become the original? Everyone was chatting excitedly. Hello, is it again about Narukami, an otaku? That challenge is really crazy. He continued, I will explain every little detail. After a while, the evening sunlight filtered through the doorframe. He was still talking during the challenge while having to endure. This guy, in other words, he set an additional challenge for himself while doing the exam. Hasuka was sitting opposite, quietly looking at Subaru with a flushed face. Hawkeye then raised a finger. Oh, sorry, let me summarize. I don't need to say much about this point anymore, so I will summarize it in one sentence. Subaru listened silently as he spoke. He himself is Subaru Narukami. His tone was full of arrogance, no need for further explanation. You looked at Hasuka. Perhaps the manager thought the same way. Suddenly, she leaned forward. Can I ask something? You calmly asked. Go ahead. She hesitated. I know it's strange for the manager to ask something like this. And I know it's rude, but her cheeks turned red. For a moment, sweat also trickled down Hasuka's cheek, gathering all her resolve. Why do you stream Narukami? She looked up, not just for the money, right? Subaru crossed his arms, silent for a moment, thinking. Hasuka opened her mouth, looking at you, feeling a bit anxious. Your answer was very straightforward. No, it's not for the money. There is no other reason. Her face was now redder than a ripe persimmon from embarrassment. Steam seemed to rise. She was embarrassed and sat down. Money is indeed important. Sorry for asking something strange. Subaru replied, It's okay. At this moment, she opened her bag. That's right. The gift. Let's talk about the gift. Hawkeye, that you just watched, is linked with Sultan, and he is a reliable streamer with a 6-year contract. His streaming style and analysis are his selling points. And he has a huge fan base. His eye for talent is very good. Take this. The stream of Hawkeye earlier and all revenue from future streams related to the content will be split 55-10. You were skeptical split with whom Hasuka explained. Of course with you, because the derivative content comes from your material advertising donations, storing everything. Subaru received the thick stack of documents really since signing the contract with the management company. One good thing after another happened. She was embarrassed to hear you say that. She lowered her eyes to the table, scratching her cheek. Is that what you think? He replied. Yes, this is a surprise gift. Hasuka brushed her hair. Well, this sounds a bit abrupt. But as a gesture of goodwill, do you want to collaborate with Hawkeye? Time flew by, and Subaru had returned to his home. He took off his mask, thinking that perhaps he didn't need it when meeting outside. And I also don't need to emphasize financial matters like that. He stood in front of the mirror, looking at himself. The more relationships he had, the harder it became to know how much he should hide. He glanced at the current system board. The 3rd level skill had been upgraded to rank C, a level 4 skill that when used eliminated the side effects of skills and items. To upgrade the rank and level of the skill, it required 80,000 prestige points. Subaru wondered, rank C and it needs 80,000 prestige points, and my balance is... The current prestige points are 120. He was disappointed, emphasizing whether or not. Money is still the top priority. At least the collaboration with Hawkeye took place the day before yesterday. I should be able to earn a decent amount. He reached into the system space and perhaps pulled out a flower. Now I need to get some things done. The scene shifted back to Hasuka. She lay face down on the pillow, her face still red and both her hands were also red. Hasuka remembered Subaru's handsome face like a god. It must be because of the money. She punched the pillow hard and screamed. That's right, Subaru thought. She was flying further away from this stylish mask. There is an extraordinary mystery hidden. If I dig deeper, I will hurt Hasuka. She punched the pillow repeatedly. I won't ask. I'm curious, but I'm not nosy. Subaru propped his hand and pointed at her. Since meeting her, Hasuka had gone from one good thing to another. Her face was getting redder like a gack fruit, and she swung her fist. Ah, me too. That punch was so strong that the pillow ripped open, revealing the stuffing inside feathers flying all over the room. She was infatuated with Subaru Narukami, a man with secrets no one knew. Meeting him in real life only made him look even more amazing. The scene shifted to the 7th floor of Noxfera, where the buildings were both magnificent and exuded a sense of dread in a brightly lit room in the main castle. A person was watching TV while working out. The screen was replaying Hawkeye's broadcast. I don't need to say more about this, so I'll summarize it in one sentence. The other person's fist was soaked in sweat, and the creaking sound echoed in the room. He was doing pull-ups while saying, "I don't like it. Choose a casual or formal way to address me. Who is this guy?" Lemon replied, "A streamer named Hawkeye. He boasts an average viewership of 8,000. He is from the Lam region, Kurakawa." Amon let go. "A streamer, huh? I will personally experience a bit." He approached, "But right now, more than Hawkeye, I want you to focus on Subaru Narukami in that stream." He was surprised. Oh, the alias has learned that. On the screen was the replay of Subaru's previous battle. Amon exclaimed, "Wow, that's really impressive." Lemon spoke up, "Do you think so?" He replied, "Seko Suhei, the Knight of the Lamb People, once said that while throwing, not taking your eyes off the opponent is the most important thing." He was astonished. "Wait, Amon, do you even remember such casual sayings?" He looked up. "I have trained hard to absorb everything about them, their breath, everything. They are players who once stood at the top, but everyone has overlooked an important fact. The Lamb People are not just Subaru Narukami. Every member is the strongest. And there are suspicious things surrounding their deaths." At that moment, Hawkeye's voice rang out. "He himself is Subaru Narukami now." No further explanation needed. Amon, hearing this, was dissatisfied with that boastful name. What right does he have to be so self-satisfied, and to speak of them so disrespectfully? Lemon replied, "That's the biggest problem with streamers, isn't it? They are willing to abandon trust and pride in an instant to gain attention." He couldn't take it anymore and turned off the TV with the remote. He turned to him frustrated. "Why are you still showing me this?" he stammered. "It's not me. The Kyojo guild leader requested me to show you." Amon was surprised to hear that. "Isukia." He commands his subordinates. "Thunder is the symbol of the Lamb People, and the Lamb People are the predecessors of our Lamb region. A cart has been pushed to us, and we know that this streamer is very obsessed with money." The covering cloth was pulled aside, revealing a golden light that shone on his astonished eyes at that sight. Beneath that cloth were many gold bars. He continued, "We have ensured enough budget now. We must bring him back at all costs." Amon's voice contained astonishment. "Are you kidding me?" he muttered, while stroking his chin. "He's a money-loving guy. In the village, everyone was busy repairing the system. It has been reported that the second level of the Bellicis Challenge is about to begin." He pointed out the tasks for everyone to gather all the injured in one place. First, treat the critically injured. Distribute medicine to the lightly injured as soon as possible. Suddenly, the familiar footsteps caught his attention, and Bellicis unconsciously smiled with relief. As if meeting a saint, he called out your name joyfully. "Benefactor, you finally woke up. How are you feeling? You fainted right outside our village. We were very worried. If you didn't wake up, I really wouldn't know what to do." Subaru rolled his wrist to stretch and replied, still feeling dizzy. Bellicis nodded and clarified, "Yes, it just happened yesterday, so it's understandable." "Let's not discuss this anymore," you suggested. "Can we talk at the inn later?" "I have a few questions." He bowed his head in agreement. "Of course, feel free to ask." Then Peleus placed his hand on his chest, bidding farewell. "See you later." Subaru stood from afar, observing him, and concluded, "Peleus is indeed a good person." In the comments, a few people agreed. Perhaps it was time to end his suffering. "Congratulations on this wedding." A moment later, when you returned to the small wooden house, the first thing you did was open the system panel to check the rewards for Subaru. Holding the shiny gem in hand, he read the description. Thunderheart, uniquely bound, no level requirement, 30% lightning resistance, 20% strong lightning resistance. He was so surprised that he exclaimed, "No way, really." A few curious people reacted when they heard him say that. "No way." Is it good or bad? Disappointed or excited? It could be both. They wondered only, Subaru knew clearly that the stats were perfect for a lightning user. No one knew that. Behind the mask was a radiant smile. This thing is too awesome. Just as he was celebrating the new treasure, a knock on the door interrupted. "Come in, please." Someone carrying a large basket of fruit opened the door and stepped in, surprising both the online residents and Subaru. Fruit Belays greeted, "Did you sleep well?" Those people teased, "Your boyfriend came to visit, huh? Someone really misses you." "Why fruit?" After a while, both sat at the table facing each other talking. After a moment of reflection, Subaru spoke, "So the legend is real." And although Belays misunderstood his meaning, he excitedly chimed in. "Yes, I saw that light too." "You saved the whole village," Subaru said, taking the item off his shoulder. "This fell from the corpse of the giant. It's called Thunderheart." Even he couldn't hide his emotions. "Wait, no way." Seeing his expression, Subaru asked, hoping he knew what it was. Contrary to his expectations, Peleus said, "Doesn't it look strange?" The answer was like a cold bucket of water splashed on Subaru. The online residents were in an uproar. "Yeah, right. He probably knows," his friend said. Peleus shyly bowed his head in embarrassment. "Sorry, I only know the ancient legends. I didn't even know they were real." "What happened next?" "You felt helpless and decided to let it go." "Whatever you know, just tell me." So he started to recount. "I only know 2 legends." Subaru curiously repeated 2. He related it to images he had seen. "The first one says that thunder was used to kill giants, and it seems you are the one who possesses it, benefactor. The second one says that the gods and giants fought over thunder." Upon hearing this, Subaru immediately asked, "Fought over it?" Belos nodded in confirmation. "Yes, this is basically the legend of the legends. The gods and giants waged war. To gain control of thunder, the giants lost. So this gem was intentionally created by someone." Subaru touched it, turning it around, wondering who it could be. Even the legend didn't mention. "But the reason is very clear." Belos spoke up to clarify the doubt. "For humanity to use thunder, and the reason humanity needs to use it." His expression changed completely when he said that. "The gods and giants think of themselves as too powerful compared to humanity." He thought back to the day when every human owned a piece of thunder for themselves. Looking at the stone, Belos affirmed that this was created so humanity could face them and win. After he finished recounting, the system reported that all the legends about humanity that had been forgotten were now clear. Completing the Thunder Challenge skill level increased achievement 17.05. Achieving Thunder from level 1 to level 3. Before anything else, the system immediately transported Subaru right in front of Belos to the 3rd floor. He panicked and shouted, "Benefactor, what's happening?" The light quickly faded and Subaru followed it, leaving Belos confused. A magnificent palace. This is the 3rd floor. The octagon, the destination, lit up right in the center of the big city. Subaru appeared like a divine figure. Yet the online crowd was busy stuffing words into his mouth, finally reaching the 3rd floor. "It must be that we have arrived, right?" The people around looked at this scene. Tired of a fake Narukami, when will this trend end? Before entering the game, the system asked him, "Subaru, Narukami Love has gifted 1,000 reputation points. Congratulations on reaching the 3rd floor. How do you feel now?" Caught off guard by the interview, Subaru didn't know how to respond. Feelings. He thought back to some past moments in this place. Here we are. At that moment, a woman asked Subaru, "Excuse me." He was quite surprised and instinctively turned to her. "Yes." Now recalling, Subaru felt a bit nostalgic. It was Gina. She looked extremely unapproachable back then. She scratched her head awkwardly and explained, "I just lost my team." Rena stretched out her hand to describe a height similar to Subaru's. "Is he this tall?" Hearing her description, he rubbed his chin, thinking, "He's a head taller than me." As if remembering something Subaru told her, "Yes, I've seen him." Rena exclaimed joyfully, "Really?" She pointed into the undefined space. "He went that way." Rena thought it was true and followed. "Thank you so much." She ran off in that direction like a naive child, while he stood still, turning around as if searching for someone. After circling a few times, Gina stopped, her gaze fixed on Subaru. Finally, Subaru decided to lead Rena along. "Let's go together. I'm heading this way anyway." That day, Rena was as happy as a lark, shouting, "Wait, really? Are you sure?" He nodded and walked ahead. "Yeah, I don't have anything to do today." If Subaru guided her, he would leave. She immediately ran after him, starting a conversation. That's much better. The roads here are confusing. I'm Kyokazina. What's your name? At that time, he replied, Kawanarakami Subaru, still wondering if everyone from back then was still alive. Returning to reality, the system interface still displayed the question of his feelings. Subaru's gaze became sharper. Looking into the void, he replied, It feels like I've lost something important. The online crowd suddenly teased, What are you talking about? Did he leave Peleus behind? The emotions felt so sudden. To avoid being disturbed in the next phase, Subaru decided to turn off the device. He said goodbye to everyone. Normally, the next stream would collaborate with Hawkeye. They felt a bit reluctant. Wait, is it over already? That's too quick, buddy. Please check the chat history for me. Finally, the system concluded. Subaru Narukami ended the live stream in a spacious and luxurious room with a chandelier shining brightly. A hand unexpectedly placed on the table where Subaru was sitting. Sorry for keeping you waiting. John stood opposite looking down at him. Hasuka is on her way here right now. Unlike climbing through challenges, moving between floors would take time. He smiled, extending his hand for a handshake. It's a pleasure to meet you. I am John 2 from Sultan Entertainment. Subaru felt a bit annoyed and recalled her nagging words. That talkative boss, John. He couldn't hear clearly, his face confused. You shook hands with him, he replied. No, I heard the manager mention you. Nice to meet you. John smiled, sitting down in the chair opposite. Normally, I would have asked Hasuka to relay this, but I wanted to meet you in person. She only praised you. A player of such a high level. Only 2 times. That's why I was curious. Subaru was a bit surprised to hear that. 2 times. He also spoke up to explain. The first time is unnecessary to mention. As soon as John mentioned that person's name, it made Narukami Subaru surprised. He crossed his arms and bowed his head low. That surprised me. That harsh judge has taken notice of you, the one sharing the name Narukami Subaru. He raised his hand to scratch his head, smiling awkwardly. I'm not sure about that. May I ask a sudden question? Before Subaru could speak, John interrupted him. Are you interested in the guild named Lam Nan? Subaru was taken aback, his eyes wide as he looked at him. John saw that reaction and reached into his pocket to take something out. That reaction. It seems you are not entirely uninterested. You seemed a bit puzzled and asked, Why are you asking that suddenly? He took out a device, looking down. Actually, that's part of the reason I wanted to meet you. John held the device in front of Subaru. 5 days from now. This is the grand prize of a tournament held on the 3rd floor. The light from the screen shone on Subaru's face. Are you joking? His hand under the table unexpectedly emitted small sparks. This is Vina holding the device, displaying a notification line, pondering. Narukami Subaru has ended the live stream. She sighed and spoke, It's over now. Vina turned and walked into the forest, unsure if the remaining part had ended as well. The sound of high heels clashing with the grass created a rustling noise as she stepped into a grassy area covered by white snow. The deeper she went, the thicker and denser the snow became. Vina approached Sig from behind, asking, Is it over? He turned his head, breath steaming in white. It ended a long time ago. She was a bit confused and reproached. Then, what were you doing earlier? Tiger quickly turned his head, contemplating. In front of him was someone in an attacking stance, frozen. Further away, there was a group of people also frozen in the same way. Should we kill them or let them go? Vina decisively stated her opinion, just kill them. We know who sent them here. You're still a bit hesitant to refuse, aren't you? That's for sure. That's why I'm considering lowering my head slightly. If it's Kyojo who sent them, he wouldn't have used such insignificant names. Hearing him say that, she sighed, but even if they let them go, there would still be issues, while Seeger was rambling around. Xena's body radiated a glow. If our position is revealed because of them under the snow, sharp daggers protruded. She raised her arm high, controlling them to fly into the air while Jenna kept her hand still. The daggers also remained still. She lightly flicked her fingers forward, and the daggers that were standing straight pointed toward Gina, her face expressionless, staring intently at the group in front of Tiger. Seeing that scene, he panicked and shouted. He turned around to look at her, stopping his words just as a series of daggers shot straight forward, piercing through those who were frozen. Their bodies were punctured and cut. No one could avoid that rain of daggers. When the scene stopped, only chaos remained on the ground. Seigo, with a worried face, loudly asked her what she was doing. Rena maintained a determined expression as she looked at him, regardless of whether Kyojo sent them or not. If we just let them go like that, they will know we are still alive. Your hesitation is really not good at all. You need to be more ruthless. He turned his face away to avoid her gaze. She said, "You're right. I'm sorry." Suddenly, the device in Seiger's pocket made a noise. He took it out to check, showing the screen to Jaina, saying, "Look at this." She angrily grabbed the device and shouted, "What the hell is this?" Vina was furious, her eyes turning red. "These bastards!" Tiger calmly crossed his arms, looking quite annoyed, right? She trembled as she replied, "Of course I'm annoyed." And Rena looked at the shoes on the screen again, shouting, because they were Soya's shoes. He pulled the device out of her hand, saying, "This is bait, a trap to lure us in." She heard Tiger say that and was so angry that her veins were popping. He had realized that we were still alive somewhere. But that doesn't mean we can just stand by. We need to retrieve those items. Vina turned away a bit sadly. "I know what you're going to say." Your eyebrows furrowed slightly. "I'm not good at doing things in the dark, but you've always been good at that kind of stuff, right?" She immediately turned and walked away. "You're stating the obvious. Even if you didn't say it, I was going to take action myself." Sigurd quickly grabbed Gina's arm, saying, "Wait, hold on." He quickly stopped her. "I'm not saying you have to rush in recklessly. Wait until the winner is determined before taking action. That's the safest method." Back in the room, John held up the picture of the shoes, happily saying, "The relic of the lamb, member the Teleria item. This is the reward that Lam Ku offered for this tournament." He was about to suggest inviting you, but Subaru quickly interrupted. "I feel the atmosphere around you becoming extremely suffocating." He smiled but looked a bit awkward. "Hearing that is good. I didn't expect you to be this interested. This plan completely depends on whether you agree or not, Narukami." Hearing this, you hesitated a bit, and John returned to his original state, calmly explaining, "Considering broadcasting under the name Narukami Subaru, I believe a storyline revolving around the pursuit of the relic of the Lamb Eye will create engaging content." After hearing him speak, the face behind your mask was filled with anger. You clenched your fists so tightly that they trembled, and your power continued to radiate. Using Soya's relic as a promotional gimmick, John noticed your state and worriedly asked if something was wrong. "Is there something bothering you?" Subaru said nothing, his voice cold as he replied, "Let's do it." He was still a bit worried, but showed a hint of joy. "Really? That's great." You stood up and pulled the chair out, saying, "Then I will take my leave." John, sitting in the chair, looked up at you. "Yes, I look forward to working with you, Subaru." As you walked away, he sat behind and tried to speak loudly so you could hear, "I've always been cheering for you from behind my screen." However, you didn't hear anything at all. Anger and resentment had overtaken your mind. Subaru thought, "I won't let anyone else have it." It absolutely won't return to his room. You lay back on the bed, staring at the ceiling. Subaru frowned slightly, wondering what format the tournament would take. Then he turned to face the wall, thinking he would appreciate it more if it were a single elimination competition. "It seems I'm not in a position to be picky." Suddenly, a voice came from outside the door. It's Hasuka." Hearing this, Subaru quickly sat up from the bed. You glanced at the mask on the table, your eyes showing clear contemplation and indecision. Then you approached and opened the door, greeted by her gentle and charming appearance. Hasuka shyly cast a timid glance at Subaru's face. It turned out that in that moment of hesitation, you still chose to wear the mask. This made Hasuka think to herself, "You wear a mask even in your own room." Then Subaru spoke, "Please come in." Hearing this, she blushed deeply and stammered, "Yes, do you mean I should come inside?" Subaru didn't realize how easily his words could be misunderstood, so he innocently replied, "If you prefer, we can talk in the hallway." "I don't mind," Hasuka said, equally flustered. "Ah, no." But she still boldly chose to step inside, saying, "I apologize for this abruptness." Inside the room, the atmosphere was strangely suffocating. No one was willing to speak first. Hasuka looked around silently, thinking about the empty room. After observing for a while, she finally looked directly at Subaru. You had been staring at Hasuka all this time, pondering the depth of her magical power, which was hard to gauge. Clearly, she was not someone who should only be a manager. Being looked at by a man like that made Hasuka a bit shy. She quickly adjusted her clothes and asked, "Is something wrong? Is there something on my face?" Subaru explained, "It's not just that you haven't said anything. I heard you have reference materials for the tournament. Hasuka almost forgot the main task, so she hurriedly pulled out a file of documents. Sorry, she said, handing it to you while saying, this tournament will apply a free-for-all format, which is a simple system where everyone fights for a big prize. Thousands of people will have to fight each other brutally, and the outcome could be victory. But you can return to the motherland at any time. Subaru briefly read through and expressed that it was a single competition. Hasuka replied, that's right. Since there is only one prize, it will naturally be like that. She excitedly added that the location would be a virtual training ground, and the condition for participation is that there must be players. The registration fee for the third floor is 1,000 prestige points, and there is no limit on the number of participants. I will send you the documents of previous chaotic battles in your kit, Narukami. Just skimming through, you will get the general idea. While she was talking, Subaru's phone vibrated with a notification. A compilation of Narukami Subaru's divine chaotic battles. The undefeated chaotic battle route of Narukami Subaru. Narukami Subaru's chaotic battles ending in 10 seconds. Narukami Subaru, the way to become Narukami Subaru in chaotic battles. After reading, he thought to himself, it's all about me. Returning to the conversation, he set the stack of papers aside and said, I will use them as reference materials. Thank you for your hard work. Hasuka scratched her head and politely replied, it's nothing, this is my job. Then she asked about another issue. By the way, have you heard any news from the leader? Subaru didn't understand, so he asked back, heard what? Hasuka replied, actually, we received a message right when she said the 3 words, from the Lamb region. Subaru was astonished, a fan. He suddenly remembered the man named Isuzu, and soon his whole body radiated a murderous intent of anger. He asked again. She said from the Lamb region. Hasuka explained that he wanted to meet you once. Since there was no way to contact you directly, they sent us an email. Subaru was surprised. They have started contacting us already. She stammered a bit. Perhaps he intends to negotiate directly, offering a higher reward, better benefits, and other conditions. Subaru clenched his fist tightly and said, forget it. Hasuka hurriedly replied, yes, I understand. Wait, forget it. Subaru stated frankly, I have no intention of joining the Lamb region nor the other guilds. Unexpectedly, Hasuka jumped up, raised her hand in celebration. Yes, I feel so relieved. She smiled happily. I was really hesitant about whether to tell you or not. But luckily I did. Hasuka gently walked to the door. Then enjoy the time until the collaboration. Seeing her leave in that manner, Subaru muttered, she's celebrating as if it were her own achievement. He took off his mask and said with delight, a regular employee who is so dedicated to the company like this. And she really is an extraordinary person. The scene shifted to a stadium where 2 figures were conversing. John and Hawkeye both seemed to be whispering about some plan. John spoke first. So, this project today is this? The talent comparison test of Narukami Subaru, old version and new version. Hawkeye asked, sounds interesting, right? John replied calmly, facing your own statement head-on is quite a bold approach, but if you lose, that would be a huge blow to you. You understand, right? Hawkeye seemed not to care much. He even expressed, I welcome that. Because there will be results, I have to accept whatever happens to gain the trust of the viewers. And then Hawkeye's eyes lit up as he confidently asked, but have I ever lost a match? John arrogantly laughed, indeed. In the end, everything depends on Narukami. Hawkeye scratched his head. That must be it. Suddenly, a pair of high-heeled shoes entered, interrupting the conversation. The leader was Hasuka and Subaru. She smiled and said, you did great today. John also cheerfully replied, ah, hello. Hawkeye, upon meeting Subaru, felt extremely excited, thinking, an opportunity to become a star is coming. Finally, I get to meet you up in the sky. Subaru looks around and thinks this place is really spacious. Did you rent it out just for yourself? At this moment, Hawkeye reaches out his hand and greets him. Then he smiles and introduces himself. I'm Streamer Hawkeye, and extends his hand. I'm Narukami Subaru, looking forward to collaborating with you. He scratches his head shyly, feeling like he's meeting Narukami. Subaru is just like that in real life. Meeting the main character of today makes me so emotional. I'm a fan, a hardcore fan, Subaru quickly explains. I'm still just a rookie streamer. I can't compare to you at all. Hawkeye John interjects then. Let's save the equipment and get to know each other. after the streamer starts. That's how streamers get to know each other. Hawkeye suggests, then let's continue this on stream. The system interface immediately appears. Hawkeye has started a live broadcast. He looks at the screen waves and smiles. Hawkeye here. Thank you all for watching today. At that moment, the status board continuously appears, and in Hawkeye's mind, a wicked thought emerges. Enming hears the announcement. Collab is really hot in the community, but just starting there are already 12,000 viewers. He raises his voice. Today is the moment everyone has been waiting for. I've invited that person here. His feet immediately appear on the battlefield. Hawkeye introduces him. This is Narukami Subaru. He responds, hello everyone, Narukami Subaru here. The information board continuously displays notifications. He responds to comments. No, I've never seen his face. I heard even his manager hasn't seen him. Narukami, do you have any secrets? Subaru scratches his face and replies, it's not like that. Besides, I'm handsome. Hawkeye is also surprised by the overwhelming interaction from the online community towards Subaru. He thinks, wow, this is becoming more lively than my stream. Indeed, the level of influence far exceeds expectations. Subaru still enthusiastically interacts with the viewers saying, sorry, but I won't lose to any of you. It's not a fight, just a friendly exchange. Hawkeye silently admires his responsibility, which is even better than he expected. Meanwhile, Subaru continues to answer, girlfriend no, just friends, none at all. Currently, Hasuka hears the important news and breathes a sigh of relief in joy, leaving John feeling helpless. A moment later, Hawkeye speaks up. Now let's stop teasing our important guest and move on to the main event. As soon as he finishes, the system announces, the challenge will begin right now. Suddenly, the lights are turned on, and the golem monsters gradually activate, looking at thousands. Tens of thousands of golems ready to charge into battle. Hawkeye calmly explains, so why did I choose this challenge? Now let's stop teasing our important guest and move on to the main event. As soon as the words were spoken, the system announced that the challenge would begin right now. Suddenly, the lights were turned on, and the golem monsters gradually powered up, looking like thousands. Tens of thousands of golems were ready to charge into battle. Hawkeye calmly explained why he chose this challenge. I will explain that one side is their feet slowly moving, while he starts to answer with two reasons. The first is entirely to measure controllability. Then, he ambiguously adds that the second reason is, I can prove that what I say is right or here. Right now, this side. Subaru received a notification that the outcome had sent 100 reputation points. He seriously thinks he can defeat it, right? But Subaru calmly replied, if I wasn't confident from the start, I wouldn't have accepted the offer. On the screen, the commentators preparing for the match quickly appeared, feeling his confidence. Ha ha, is he really going to break the record in just one attempt? The commentary appeared, perhaps so. I'm too nervous. Subaru's palms unconsciously tightened as he stood in the center of the notification system. Mucho Spicy has given you a mission. If you kill 43 in one run, you earn 10,000 reputation points. If you fail, you'll be exposed on camera. Subaru hesitated, raising his hand. Not that. It's still too early for me to risk taking off the mask. The notification system, Mapfetis, has assigned the mission. I also want to see your face, so I sent 2,000 points. Mouse Thinking Toilet gives 3,000 reputation points, and Lava Beast adds 3,000 points to make it enticing. You have been assigned a mission. Subaru raised his finger to thank for the gifts. I promise I will reveal my face if I fail. The commentary appeared. You don't intend to refuse from the start, do you? Oh my, only newcomers have to suffer penalties, and you're still sharing the mission rewards, huh? Hawkeye chuckled. Right. With this mission, all reputation points will belong to Narukami. He quickly pressed the timer. All right. Let's get started then. His finger finally pressed the button. It's showtime. On the screen, the timer immediately started counting down as the golems quickly flew into the air preparing to attack. Subaru's eyes suddenly sharpened, showing no fear as he activated lightning. His body quickly lunged at the golem. Subaru's arms enveloped in a powerful electric current, and his palms immediately grabbed the golem's face. In the blink of an eye, he easily took down number one. A comment appeared, just one hit. He hasn't even used the demon sword yet. It's too easy. Hawkeye exclaimed wide-eyed, unable to believe he was witnessing the lightning directly from Subaru's strong hands. Quickly gripping the sword's hilt in just one move, he easily knocked down countless golems. The notification system showed the time as 2 minutes, 39 seconds. The commentary appeared. This guy is too fast. Theoretically, at this speed, he would achieve 70 kills, but it would be even harder. Countless golems with sharp eyes stared at him, and they began to rush at him frantically. Subaru's feet quickly kicked straight into the golem's face. 2 minutes, 3 seconds. His body was now suspended in midair. The commentary appeared. Oh my, the legendary scene is being recreated. Is this a circus? Fighting in the air is Subaru's specialty. The golems all turned their eyes upward. Subaru's palms quickly rotated the sword's hilt skillfully. Finally, he firmly gripped the hilt and raised it high. In the blink of an eye, Subaru quickly drove it straight down to the ground with a powerful innate ability, creating electric currents radiating around. 22 kills, 26. The blade's tip was enveloped in electricity. The comments popped up, and everyone around was intently watching the match. The comments said he would definitely come in second. He might actually pull it off. My condolences to everyone who entrusted him with the task. Hawkeye's eyes suddenly froze at the sight before him as the timeline continued to shorten. On the bright screen, Subaru was fighting wildly, uncontrollably. In the blink of an eye, the golem's body split in two. 22 kills for 42 Subaru. Subaru struggled to stay upright, panting continuously. Finally, he returned to his original state with sharp eyes, and countless enemies appeared before him. The golem was wielding a weapon in its hand, and Subaru's feet pushed off as he ran quickly forward. The blade of the sword instantly pierced the golem's neck. The time on the bright screen was gradually shortening, and the final number was also closing in on the starting position. The system announced that the challenge had ended. The total number of kills was 43, and the record was updated. The system announced with a long line, ST plus Narukami Subaru. And the comment said, 43, an incredible result, totally unexpected. He was just one short. Oh my, this is a historic moment. Kai rushed over. 43. He tied with Narukami Subaru. This match is a tie. What a nail-biter. How does everyone feel about that? The comments popped up, and it gave me goosebumps. I thought it was just luck that he climbed to second place. I also thought second place was already hard to achieve. I thought it was just a random mob, and Rumbling gifted you 100 reputation points. I was so scared I almost wet my pants. I subscribed to the channel, and Hawkeye laughed, saying, "Thanks for the 100 reputation points, Rumbling." The comments popped up. Feed Wiper Hack Ice has gifted you 200 reputation points for that reason. Hawkeye replied, "You again? Feed Wiper Hack Ice, I've seen you 100 times already. Please change your username. Anyway, thanks for the reputation points." The comments popped up. Mushroom Villas has gifted you 1,000 reputation points. Kai scratched his head, asking, "Is this the live stream of Narukami Subaru?" "No, it's not." The comments popped up. Ren has gifted you 10,000 reputation points. Suddenly, Hawkeye's gaze froze at the name that appeared, Ren. Seriously, is it Ren? It must be a fake. The top swordsman is here. What if it's real? It really is. A big name in the chat. At most a mid-tier no big deal. Someone scratched their head awkwardly. "Thanks for the 10,000 reputation points, Ren." I can't believe it. A high-ranked player is watching this stream. Subaru thought to himself, the top swordsman, huh? Suddenly the image of Dell appeared in his mind. The comments popped up. Ren has gifted you 1,000 reputation points. I always watch your stream. And Narukami Subaru's run has inspired me. Oh my, Hack Ice really did it. Hawkeye chuckled. Really, I'm so honored. Subaru glanced to the side, wondering why he was streaming this. Could it be that he knows what I did with Isaac? The comments popped up. Renhart has gifted you 1,000 reputation points. I always watch your stream. Narukami Subaru, will you collaborate with me? Suddenly, his gaze froze as he looked up at the screen. The comments popped up. Wow, this new guy is really climbing. I knew he would rise. I knew he would stand out. Subaru didn't respond, only awkwardly scratched his head while John and Hasuka simultaneously signaled their agreement. Subaru hesitated and said, I need to focus on the challenges first. So I will decline then. John and Hasuka were surprised, their eyes wide. Subaru immediately bowed and said, Sorry, I've used too much energy already. Hack Ice, can I ask you to finish this for me? He seemed flustered, huh? What Hawkeye watched Subaru's figure leave. Wait, Narukami. John hurriedly said, Narukami, why did you refuse him? Astiti. That was a huge opportunity to boost your streaming career. Hasuka added, I was shocked too. Is that really that important? John was bewildered. Collaborating with the top-ranked player is something that almost never happens. He replied, Is that all there is to it? If being ranked is that important, then I will become a ranked player myself. Subaru finished, then just stood there watching Hasuki and John. Suddenly, Hawkeye interrupted the tense atmosphere. Narukami. As expected, the performance was outstanding. When the revenue comes in, I will send you your share. By the way, since the stream has ended, can I ask you something? Earlier during the fight, you gave me a different feeling, as if you weren't in your best state. Are you injured or something? Subaru thought to himself, so Hack Ice noticed that too. I thought I was hiding it pretty well, but it seems that he is indeed called Hack Ice. That's not wrong. Whether I win or lose it will cause trouble for me. Hawkeye chuckled. Causing trouble for you, huh? Subaru said in a serious tone. The highlight of the stream is whether I can surpass Narukami Subaru or not. That's where maturity is shown. If I don't win today, it will indeed be a temporary setback, but the hype around that confrontation will plummet. If I lose, people will just say, anyway, he wasn't really Narukami Subaru's opponent. So, in this test, I need a result where both characters are on equal footing. That's why the fire result is the only optimal solution. Hawkeye seemed confused. So, if you want, you could have surpassed him already, right? Subaru's foot shifted to the side. Who knows? Now we can't change the result anymore. It all depends on how people interpret it. On the other side, a hand filled with rage was about to punch down. The flag with the lion emblem gradually appeared. The man who broke the table in half was none other than Rank 121 Kim Soo Association leader Ren H. He spoke with a grudge. That arrogant brat. The dropped phone also displayed a notification that viewers had left the live stream. At that moment, Kang Hai outside heard the noise and hurriedly ran into the room. Mr. Ren H., he said awkwardly. What's going on? Hearing this, Ren's blood boiled even more. He gritted his teeth. It's that Subaru Narukami you mentioned. Kang He asked again. The name of the streamer is correct, right? Ren replied, yes, it's Subaru Narukami. That brat has rejected my offer, so Kang He was confused and flattered, feeling really arrogant for daring to refuse an offer from you, sir, without letting him finish speaking. Ren continued, I plan to crush him in front of everyone and put an end to those annoying rumors. But now, everything has been ruined. I don't care about the reputation I've built. What frustrates me is that a nameless rookie dares to harm my pride and Kang He doesn't respond. Just quietly picking up the phone from the ground and respectfully handing it to Ren, your machine, sir. So he snatched the phone back while asking about the issue I had asked you about. He scratched his head and hesitantly replied, if you mean who Jack is, we are still searching as hard as we can. But, well, the disappearance for a few days at his age is not something that hasn't happened before. Before he could finish his sentence, Kang He was gripped tightly by an invisible hand lifted into the air, his face turning purple with pain as Ren coldly questioned. Are you also planning to insult me? Kang He struggled to reply, I really... But he couldn't continue as the air was gradually being sucked out, tears and snot running down his face, and then Ren waved his hand causing Kang He's body to move accordingly. He was thrown aside, crashing into the wall, causing it to crack, as Kang He's vision blurred, and before he could regain his composure, Ren stepped forward and said, since when did you start scrutinizing my orders? Seeing that murderous intent, Kang He clasped his hands and knelt, promising, please forgive me, I will continue to search immediately. Scene change. The phone was ringing, signaling a call from boss Wika, looking pale and bored, not wanting to answer. Yes, but when she picked up the phone, she had to cheer up, yes. Hello, good evening, department head. John's voice from the other end rang out reproachfully. Did my call annoy you that much? Where's your energy? What's with that tired voice? At least talk to me like you would to Narukami, she thought to herself. Here we go again. John continued, we have built trust over many years. Even if now it's just work, back then we were... Wika unexpectedly interrupted. Weren't you calling about a collaboration proposal with Ren? John replied, yeah, damn it, that's right. We can't miss an opportunity like this. Wika sighed, but what can we do? John reassured, I know, But he's still a streamer. He knows this is a big opportunity. So why don't you try to persuade him again as his manager? After hearing that she seriously presented Narukami, Subaru is more interested in climbing the tower than collaborating, to be honest. A player thinks that way is correct. John, on this side, was frying eggs while scolding. You only seem excited when you argue with me. A little later, Wika announced, I'm hanging up. John barely had time to hold on. Wait, but she ignored him and hung up immediately. Wika thought, even though I said that boldly. But it would really be a great opportunity for him. So she bravely knocked on Narukami's door, while her heart encouraged herself. Maybe I'll try one more time. Unexpectedly, the door swung open, startling her. Subaru spoke up, Wika, I see you still wearing the mask. So I asked, do you always wear a mask? Subaru replied, currently. Yes, it makes me feel more comfortable. And then he asked, are you also curious about my real face? Subaru replied, that's right. It makes me feel more at ease. And then you asked, are you also curious about my true face? It felt like I hit the nail on the head, Ui said, stammering, yes, I mean no. Then she quickly covered it up, saying it was just a mask. It made viewers associate him with Subaru Narukami. Obviously, he is Subaru Narukami. But one day, perhaps he will have to reveal himself unexpectedly. You asked why everyone is so obsessed with Subaru. Narukami, Wika thought seriously and explained I could think of a few reasons. For example, he is an earthling with bad stats, or just existing makes him really cool. But most importantly, Subaru Narukami is our hope. You still seem confused, so you asked her what she meant. Ui recalled memories from the past and said you might not know this. But the first time I went to the tower, there was almost nothing there. Monsters everywhere, nothing to eat. No way to earn money. Stability was just an illusion. There was only one way to survive, and that was to climb up. If you climbed up, you earned prestige points. With those points, you could settle down, and little by little people began to believe that. This world could really be ours at that time. The greatest players left hope for us that we could conquer this tower, that we could settle in this world. And the one standing above all of them is Subaru Narukami. His achievement is not just about climbing the tower. He was the first to prove it was possible to return to reality. Subaru was doubtful. Did she think so too? Ui mischievously leaned closer to him and replied cryptically, that's a secret, just like the face behind his mask. Perhaps one day I will tell you, so you changed the subject and politely invited Ui in. After all, you came here for a reason, right? Sorry to ask you in a rush. Please come inside and let's talk. Hearing that, Ui blushed and quickly waved her hand. It's nothing big. I'm leaving now. Good night, she said as she turned to leave. Subaru stood there watching her disappear. Wika, on the other hand, sighed in relief, thinking to herself that after rambling for a while, she didn't even want to convince him anymore. Why does he always try to invite me into his house? It makes my heart race. Subaru stood in front of the door, mumbling about hope transitioning to a white room. The system sound rang out, so happy to see you again. Subaru Narukami. Love. Thank you for 1,000 prestige points. He replied today, I hope we will win. Mission villain. The system displayed information that Kim Soo had gifted you 500 prestige points. You really don't intend to cooperate with Mr. Ren, huh? I'm very glad to meet you. I'm Mondo from the Regressor Guild. I have something important to discuss. Are you free? On the live stream screen, Subaru sighed as viewers continuously commented asking about his upcoming decision, which faction he planned to join on the third floor. Or did he plan to continue solo? In his heart, he thought that collaboration was crazy. Viewers and donations were pouring in at this rate. He wanted to give everyone what they wanted. And they were giving him prestige points, while thinking the system reported that it was initializing the challenge for the third floor, displaying two choices for Subaru to click on the Ottoman Kingdom and the Conrad Kingdom. Faction changes were almost everything in this floor challenge. They hated each other, so Subaru's mission would change depending on which faction he joined. And finally, the system displayed Subaru's choice. You have chosen the Conrad Kingdom. Only about 3% of players chose Conrad, and there was a reason for that. The third floor, the Conrad Kingdom, a resting place for mercenaries. As soon as he stepped in, a man noticed him brimming with excitement. A newcomer just in time. I'm bored out of my mind. So he stepped closer, seemingly with not-so-good intentions. Just as the two brushed past each other, he shoved hard into Subaru's shoulder. Unexpectedly, Subaru didn't fall but pushed back, causing his foot to twist to maintain balance on the floor. Subaru zoomed past like a gust of wind, ignoring the bewildered gaze of the vulture as he shouted loudly, "Can't you watch where you're going?" But inside, he couldn't help but admire Subaru. He was so strong. Seeing the boy turn back to look at the vulture, he took the opportunity to shout, "What the hell is wrong with you?" Subaru calmly replied, "You're the one with the problem. You intentionally bumped into us." The vulture, feeling insulted, rushed forward to grab the collar of his shirt, cursing at the brat. "You're clearly just a mediocre E rank. How dare you argue with a B rank?" Vulture is bullying an E rank again. The people around also turned to the two to catch the drama unfolding. "Are they going to fight? Who's this newcomer?" Subaru nonchalantly replied, "B rank is perfect for me to test something on this confusing vulture." "Test something." Before he could finish, a crowd had gathered around Subaru's feet. He immediately raised his knee high, delivering a vicious blow to the opponent's jaw. The vulture, with its unique sharp teeth, became motionless as it was sent flying through the air, landing flat on the ground. This left everyone stunned. What just happened? I just saw a flash. Could he be sick? If he were sick, he wouldn't have flown out like that. Amid the noisy crowd, a man had his eyes on Subaru while several others charged in, ready to deal with him. "I saw you kick the vulture. How can an E rank boast like that? You bastard, I will tear that mask off your face, flesh and all." Before long, Subaru was surrounded by a group of people. One of them, looking savage, said, "This will be your grave, newcomer." He remained silent, his gaze fixed as he observed. After a struggle, the whole group ended up battered, their initial bravado replaced by fear. "What the hell is he? He's not human." One person stepped forward to strike up a conversation. "Hey, you're strong." The man extended his hand for a handshake, introducing himself. "My name is Duimon. I'm an evaluator."